And we are live. What's going on?
Hey, everyone.
I am joined once again by an acquaintance of mine, Mr. Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Doing pretty good. Well, I know one of the comments I read in one of your videos. I mean, the guy's name is a lot like my name, but that means nothing. He said that I'm handsome. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's somebody lied.
I'm handsome, and you, Jesus, look at you.
That's somebody lied. Well, I was thinking this whole week, things were going great. Having some big changes in my life. I even got prettied up for these changes, and everything seems to be going really well. And Spider-Man 2 is right around the corner. I'm like fucking pumped for that. And then we get some sad news. Sir Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore, has passed away.
Yeah.
I think they said it was, God, what was it? Pneumonia. It was pneumonia.
Oh, yeah.
I think they said he was 87 or something like that.
Wow, 87.
Yeah. He lived quite the life. I actually remember him from a few movies. Well, obviously, like, biggest one, Harry Potter. But he also played in this movie. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's based on a true story. It's called Amazing Grace.
I don't think so. Amazing Grace.
It has that actor that played Mr. Fantastic in the Jessica Alba movies, like in the late 2000s. It has him in it. He's like the main character. I think I haven't seen this movie since it came out in fucking 2007, 2008. But I remember really liking it. My dad actually rented it from Netflix. Which, by the way, side note, did you know Netflix stopped, I guess as of Friday, they stopped mailing DVDs and shit like that. I didn't even know they were still doing that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have Netflix, so, but that's interesting.
But when I had Netflix, I was like, what? But yeah, I found that out because they're like, oh yeah, they're gonna stop as of November 29th or something like that. I'm like, what? I didn't know they were still doing that. It was so weird to me.
Yeah, that was always something that, like, if I look something up online and I'll see, oh, it's on Netflix, like there was an option to get the DVD, but I never did it. I never actually went through the process of like getting it and then I guess returning it.
Yeah. I guess they're officially done with the physical stuff, but we're going to start relying on digital media more and more, unfortunately. Well, actually, that's not entirely true because I guess Bob Iger decided he wants his Disney Plus shows on Blu-rays now. Did you see that?
No, wait, really? So he wants
Well, Disney Plus. It already happened. It already happened. So Loki, I saw pictures on like Facebook and stuff like that. And Loki season 1, I guess, just hit Blu-ray. And it's a 6-episode season. They're like, 30 minutes long, something like that. They are pricing this Blu-ray at, wait for it, $50. $50 for 6 30-minute episodes.
$50.
$50.
That's with tax and the gas to drive to the store. Like, you could reasonably say that's like $10 an episode.
Yeah. And the time actually like going and getting it. Like I don't have time for that. The MCU's trash. No one wants, but it just goes to show that they're losing money. I mean, they lost over 1 million subscribers or something like that. Yeah. But
they're bleeding subscribers from
oh,
what I've
yeah,
ever heard, at least.
Totally. Yeah. It's doing so well now. And conveniently now they want to start making more Star Wars movies in theaters and shit like that. So it's funny how everything just comes together like that, eh? But
after, well, what I find hilarious is it's like, again, I'm not the most knowledgeable about like the box office and all that kind of stuff and like the numbers. But from what I've ever heard is that I don't think Loki did that well, like numbers wise. I mean, I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it did that well. So
I don't think it did well either. I could be wrong, but not many people really cared about it.
That's what I mean. It's like they're gonna sell it. Like who would actually buy it? You know what I mean? Especially when they're making a season 2. It's like, why wouldn't if you actually did want to own them, just wait until all the seasons are done and just buy the whole collection.
Yeah,
you actually wanted them that bad.
But the original idea was that you weren't going to be able to buy these individually. That was the original idea. They had no plan. Like with the Mandalorian, Loki, all these shows that they were doing, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there were no plans to have any of the only way you could watch these were on Disney Plus. Now you can just go ahead and buy the Blu-rays. Now I don't know if they released any more. I think it's a little weird that they did Loki, but maybe that's because Loki did better than the other shows. I honestly don't know. But yeah, there has been talks in the last year or so that The Mandalorian was going to start going on Blu-ray, selling on Blu-ray. So there's that. But
I mean, I say why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Let them spend the money to print the actual physical discs.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in stores, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see how they sell. I mean,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am definitely an advocate for physical media.
Mm-hmm.
I think physical media is still the best way to go. Yeah, you actually own it. You don't have to stream. Even when you buy the shit, you still have to stream it. And even then, it's easier for them to make changes to it. Case in point, I've owned both 300 movies for a few years now. And the first 300 movie, it actually fills the entire screen, right? Mm. And so I'm watching it, and I was like, oh, wow, this actually fills the entire screen. That's awesome. I like that. I like when it actually fills the screen. I'm just that kind of person, especially when you have, these new TVs where it's not like a regular tube TV anymore, Yeah. But so, God, a while back when I went to watch the first one again, just out of nowhere, I was just like, I can watch this again. And it's no longer in that format. It's actually in the widescreen format. So it has the black bars at the top and bottom of the screen. And I was like, wow, that's it didn't bother me, but it's the idea that they can just change it like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the fact they can change it that sucks. Mm-hmm. You bought it a certain way, and now it's not like that anymore.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, back to Michael Gambon though. I was talking about that movie Amazing Grace, and I think I can't remember, but I think when I think that movie was about the guy who actually wrote the song Amazing Grace. So it kind of follows him, and everything like that. Anyway, I just remember seeing, I just remember hearing, I just see this old man, you know, he's like mopping the hallway floor or something like that, and he's talking to the main guy, and I was just sitting there like, why does he sound so familiar? He doesn't look, you know, because fucking, you know, with the lack of a beard and everything, I didn't fucking know who that guy was, and
Really, no beard.
yeah, no beard, and I was just like, why does he sound familiar? And I'm like, I know that voice. And then like a couple seconds later, I'm just like, you know, I'm sitting there watching it with my dad. I'm like, that's Dumbledore. He's like, wait, really? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's the guy that plays Dumbledore.
Yeah,
And
it's
he like listened for a minute. He listened to him talk for a second. He's like, shit, I think you're right. I'm like, um, but yeah, I remember seeing him in that movie. He wasn't in a whole lot of that, but he was also in he was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle for like a couple seconds. And he was in The King's Speech. Did we ever watch that together? The King's Speech?
I don't know.
I think we had plans to, but we didn't.
I was gonna say I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But
I'd be down to watch that. I've actually been thinking about watching that again, but he plays Colin Firth's dad in the movie. Yeah, he was like he was pretty. There's like a scene where he like starts yelling at him because he's just like, because you know he's got like a speech impediment, so he's trying to read this speech that he's supposed to say over the radio, and you know, Michael Gambon's just like, just try it. You know? But yeah, that's a great fucking, I love that movie so much. It's so good. I've always been one for the historical, like the British historical kind of movies. I love all that. I get that from my dad for sure. But yeah. Michael Gambon, man, he was a great guy. He also voiced a character in Elder Scrolls Online. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, because I bought it for the PS4. I bought the actual physical disc for Elder Scrolls Online. And I was just like, I want to try this out. And so I put it in, I played it, and there's this character that you meet like at the very beginning. And I'm like, is that fucking Dumbledore? And I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, that's him. And I was like, oh shit.
It's like, is that Dumbledore?
Yeah. God, he had a
That's
great
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching, I don't know what movie it was. I can't even, I just remember like flipping through the channels one day and like some movie was on. So I was like, oh, whatever. And then I saw him in it. I mean, he was a little younger than like when he was in the Harry Potter movies. But yeah, and I was like, it was just funny. I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's Dumbledore. You know, like, it's funny seeing like iconic actors in a different role. You know, it's like, it's weird. You're like, wait a minute, that's not him.
Yeah. I have to look. Just so there, I'm going to look it up. But there was a. So when a couple days ago, when I found out he died, I was going through and seeing all the movies that he was in, and he was in an animated version of A Christmas Carol. So I looked it up. I clicked on it, and he played one of the ghosts. I can't remember which. I'm actually trying to look it up now. But I looked at the cast, and I was surprised to see who all was in this movie. Oh, Amazing Grace came out in 2006, by the way. But he was there was like this cast. Like there were a lot of well-known actors in this movie. I'm trying to find it here. Christmas Carol, the movie, I think. He played Ghost of Christmas Present. Yeah. We got, if it loads here, we got Kate Winslet playing Belle. I guess that's Scrooge's girlfriend that
love interest or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage playing Marley.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Michael Gambon as the Ghost of Christmas Present. You got Risa Fons, who was the lizard in the Amazing Spider-Man. He also played Xenophilius Lovegood in Harry Potter. But he played Bob Cratchit. No, I guess that's pretty much it. But yeah, I think the Nicolas Cage one really threw me off because I'm like,
yeah, that one's like, huh?
Cage? I was like, okay,
because he has a very distinct voice.
yeah. So that was funny. I just saw that. I was like, huh, that's interesting. But yeah, I kind of want to watch that just for Michael Gambon and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, just to hear them.
But what was your initial reaction to Michael Gambon in the first trailer of Prisoner of Azkaban?
My first reaction. I think I was more surprised because I was just like, wait, what? Because obviously he looks like Dumbledore in the classic sense, but you could tell obviously he was a different actor. And I was like, so when I was younger, I was like, I didn't understand. I was like, why? Like what happened? Like why does he look different?
Yeah.
But I liked him as Dumbledore. I mean, I know some people, especially in the fourth one,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. I definitely understand where they're coming from. But where he was a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it. He wasn't very calm as Dumbledore, right? He's very ferocious in the fourth one.
He very calmly said,
Oh, but yeah, no, oh man, he was so good as Dumbledore, especially in Half-Blood Prince. I think it's so underrated.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like I said, I understand some of the complaints about, Goblet of Fire and how he, like I said, he brought a little more, I don't know, intensity to it. But I think Half-Blood Prince was a really good, really good balance, of how, how Dumbledore should be played.
Yeah.
He's a powerful being, but he's very calm and very, full of wisdom. Yeah, he'll be missed.
Yeah. So my initial reaction to Dumbledore, to his version of Dumbledore, wasn't very positive, because
oh really?
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't like it at first. I didn't like so when I found out Richard Harris died, I was like, man, what are they gonna do? And like me being really young at the time, I was just like, does that mean we're done? Does that mean there are no more Harry Potter movies? They took a year off, they got it figured out, and they cast someone else. I'm like, he's not going to be as good. He's not going to be as good. And I saw the trailers, and I'm like, I already don't like the voice. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm still going to see the movie because it's fucking Harry Potter, and I was still excited for the movie, but I was just like, I don't think I'm going to like him. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, okay, I dug it. I was like, okay, I can get used to this if he sticks around a while. I can get used to this. And then Goblet of Fire, of course. So his first two outings as Dumbledore weren't my favorite. They were probably because he was he was a lot more calmer and a lot more calm. I don't know if calmer is a word, but a lot more calm in Prisoner of Azkaban for sure. But Goblet of Fire, I just didn't like how they portrayed him. I felt like Goblet of Fire was a little. It's a weird thing. I keep going back and forth with that movie because I feel like, for the most part, I like the movie. I like the movie overall. I think it's great. It's far from the worst Harry Potter movie. Well, I don't know if I'd say far from the worst, but it's not the worst Harry Potter movie. It's I I think they tried to go too much. They wanted to go all in on the action portion of it, and I feel like that kind of hurt the movie, in my opinion. It had a very different feel. You could tell every time they changed a director, you could tell because stylistically it was different. Prisoner of Azkaban is different from all the other Harry Potter movies. The first two Harry Potter movies are different from all the other ones. Goblet of Fire is different from everything else. And then, 5 through 7 part 2, it's all different, including the Fantastic Beasts, because David Yates is just now their guy to take on these movies. But I just I like the movie. It's just they went a little too intense with, especially with Dumbledore. Dumbledore was a little too intense. He didn't need to be all that way. Because I was actually looking forward to the moment in the book, because Dumbledore was portrayed in the book as being like, I hate that I have to ask you this, but did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Just you know what I mean? It was one of those things where even he didn't know, and I feel like they portrayed it that he didn't know, but at the same time, it was more or less he was angry about it. And it's like, that's not Dumbledore. That's the farthest from Dumbledore he's ever been. And I didn't like that. But I think the other movies after he was portrayed perfectly, I thought he did really well. I loved, one of my favorite moments was in Half-Blood Prince, even though that's kind of my least favorite of the movies. One of my favorite scenes is right before they go into the cave, like right before they apparate out of the school. Because I remember it in the book too. I remember he sees Dumbledore there, and he's just like, "You need to shave, my friend." And he's like, he goes, at times I forget how grown you truly are, or something like that. And he's just sort of reminiscing, and it's that very welcoming, that very kind of heartwarming, like grandfather kind of feeling he gives off. And I'm glad that was in the movie, because I feel like that needed to be there. I just remember sitting in the theater, I'm with my dad, and I'm with another one of our friends, and I remember just sitting there. I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck. I'm already feeling it. And you hear the music kicking in. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking cry.
Yeah, it's like,
but I remember, and I don't want to name any of our friends, publicly, especially because I don't know if he'll want to be named. But I'll tell you who it is after the show, of course. But even to this day, like he'll bring up this moment. So when we were in the theater, so he was over at our house, and we were just hanging out. And my dad just randomly called us down. We were in my room playing video games, doing whatever, I don't know. And my dad called us down, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to go to the movies?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, well, you guys want to see Harry Potter?" And we were both like, "Hell yeah, like let's go see Harry Potter." And so we went there. We did go to the movies to see that together. And I remember the cave scene when Harry goes to put the cup or whatever into the actual water, because he can't just like scoop. He can't like cast the water in the basin and scoop it out. He had to actually go in the lake or in the water. And when that thing grabs Harry by the arm, my dad fucking bam, like just jumped. I fucking dropped my mouse. But he just like bam and shook the entire theater row, scared the woman next to him. We're just all like, we just look over him. Like,
that part does get you though. It
Yeah,
really
I
does.
like
You
that.
can imagine
I
it
was
being.
waiting for it too because I'm like, man, something's gonna fucking happen. And even my dad was like, just like, yeah, it pisses me off because I remember that in the book, and I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. I just had a feeling, and then we were just making fun of him about it the whole day. It was so funny. Oh man, but
So good. But yeah, or even like the brief scene of Dumbledore in the Deathly Hallows Part 2 when Harry like
yeah.
I mean he didn't really die, but you know, he kind of did, I guess.
Mhm.
Also, that
Yeah.
was also nice too. That also showed his like wisdom, you know.
Yeah. Don't pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living. And
Mhm.
above all else, those that live without love.
Yeah.
You know, I like. I I wish they would have put it in the movie, but in the book, when Harry meets, I guess when Dumbledore's about to leave, you know, after like Harry took his life, you know, sacrificed himself for everyone.
Mhm.
Dumbledore says something. It was something along the lines of death is the next great adventure or something like that. Um, I can't remember how it went, but I'm like, damn, dude. Um, yeah, he, he he was great. He really was. Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad, but
Yeah.
you know, such is life, I guess.
I was gonna say he was, you know, in his 80s, so like it you know, unfortunately, right? It was gonna happen sooner or later. You know, like we knew it was relatively coming.
Yeah,
You know, it's still sad. You know, it's still like I want to go back and watch the movies now.
I know, me too. Um, Speaking of, I mean, we did talk about it before, but we might be doing a little bit of a watch party.
I'm busy
Um,
that day.
Good. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a watch party if anyone wants to join me of Harry Potter. I don't know if we're going to do like a movie a day or however we want. Obviously, we can't do it every day. Uh, we're grown adults for that. We're too grown for that. We have responsibilities, but
Yes.
I would like to try and do something along those lines because I think it'd be nice.
hmm
As a little tribute to Michael Gambon. Uh, but yeah, um, if you were to rank the Harry Potter movies, what would your
Oh,
ranking be? From we'll hmm. I don't know if I want to do best to worst or worst to best. I'll let you pick.
ooh, man. We'll do best to worst.
Okay.
Let's do best to worst.
Okay, you go first because I'm trying to think.
Well, oh man, it's tough. I will say, I think my favorite well, I should say easily, but I think my favorite is definitely Order of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's just I don't know. It just to me, it's. I
It's a
mean,
good.
Umbridge just gets under your skin, you know, and of
I like
course,
the overall feel of that movie.
wait, what?
I like the overall feel of that movie.
Yeah, how to me, I feel like it was just a really good, like Harry. Obviously, after the events of the fourth one, it's like things are more
Mhm.
intense now.
Yep.
Things are more serious and the stakes are higher, and of course, with Sirius and Voldemort and Dumbledore's battle in the end. I mean, it was a lot of intensity, in that
Yep.
movie. Is that your favorite one too?
I don't want to say it's my favorite one because here's the thing. I go back and forth between Order of the Phoenix and Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's a
The
good
more
one
I think
too.
about Prisoner of Azkaban, the more I actually really like that movie. I like that it feels very gothic.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it feels. I just like the feeling that I get when watching the movie overall because it is one of the more darker Harry Potter movies, and I love Gary Oldman's performance in the movie as Sirius Black. That was amazing. I like the sort of suspense. It's like, who's this? Peter Pettigrew was on the map. Oh, that's not possible. He's dead. Well, I saw him. I'm just telling you what I saw. It's like, well, what's going on here? And then there was a lot going on in that
the
movie.
Black dog chasing him, right?
Yeah.
Like stalking him. And it's like, wait, why is that thing chasing?
Yep. And then, well, why do the Dementors affect me so much? Why are they after me so much? All this stuff. I love that. Oh man.
Yeah. That one, I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think Prisoner of Azkaban is probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
Just because, and it's funny because that's the only one that doesn't have Voldemort.
Yeah.
Really mentioned at all. Maybe a little bit, but not really.
Yeah, he's not mentioned very often, but
it's funny. Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. I like the movie a lot. Like it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so beyond those two. I don't know. It's hard to say because my two options that I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that my next two, I don't know what order yet. I have to think about it more. But the two I'm thinking is like either Chamber of Secrets or Goblet of Fire, personally.
Okay.
Now, the thing with Goblet of Fire is that I loved especially when Voldemort shows up and like how serious it gets, like that. You could definitely feel the tonal change of like, it goes from like, oh, we're just a bunch of kids in school, and there's a bad guy, but it's not, we can get around it, to like, oh my God, Voldemort's right in front of me. He just killed my friend, like it gets very grown up very quickly.
Yep.
And I just love that switch. Like it's so powerful. And of course, who plays Voldemort? His name?
Ralph Fiennes.
Great performance. It's like you could definitely feel it, when he shows up.
Well, also, like, I feel like a lot of people don't give him enough credit, but the guy who played Cedric Diggory's dad.
Oh yeah,
Amos Diggory. He did a fantastic job with his son's death. That whole scene, that part makes the scene. I remember I was pretty young when I saw that movie. That was 2005. I mean, I was old enough to process death, of course, but still, it's just like even when I was watching that, it was just so rough to watch because it's like, man, this dude lost his son.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And I mean, all the performances are great, obviously. Yeah. But even like Mad-Eye Moody, like I thought he was fun. He was like a fun addition,
Yeah.
My only thing with Goblet of Fire, and I mean, and again, like it's more retroactively now versus when I first saw it. But like retroactively, it's like I could see Dumbledore being a little too intense, because I never read the books as a kid, but now as an adult, I've read them. At least the first four. And like now I kind of see it where it's like, okay, Dumbledore is really not supposed to be like, did you push him to Goblet of Fire?
Yep.
So now I kind of
slamming Harry up against a fucking trophy case.
Yeah, I was like, so I could definitely see that where like it does kind of hinder it a little bit for me. It's like, okay. And another thing that kind of hinders it for me is like, and I mean it's not a big deal, but like they, like you kind of said, like they definitely upped the action, which like can be good sometimes, but then other times it kind of messes with the story. Because like, for example, the dragon trial or sequence, like in the book, it's like a page, maybe 2 pages, not even like it, the whole reason that Harry is even in first place is because he's the only one who used the broom. Like he did it so quickly in the book, which surprises everyone. But like in the movie, it's like this big sequence where the dragon gets free and it's like destroying parts of the castle. But yet all the teachers are just sitting there watching. and Harry's like flying through, like trying to like lose it, and it's like biting at him, and like it was just very dramatic. And I was like, I don't know. To me, that just seems a little like it's supposed to be a tournament, like
Yeah.
accidents can happen, but this is like, it can like kill people now. Like you would think that like the wizards would stop the dragon.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's kind of the whole point. Is that was kind of the whole point. People can die in the tournament, but when the dragon gets set loose, it's like, well, it's not just the contestants at that point.
Yeah.
Like what if the dragon attacks another student? Then what? So.
Yeah. Well, especially when it's destroying parts of the castle, where it's like, what if someone's not even watching the tournament? Where they're just like in their room studying, and this dragon's like with its tail busting the walls, and it was very intense there.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that kind of bothers me is that, they show the tasks, they show all 3 tasks and everything, but they don't ever really tell you like, okay, who's in first place in the Triwizard tournament? Like who did the best on this task, who did the worst on this task? You know what I mean? The only task that you really know of that someone did the best or worst was the second task. Maybe the third task, because Fleur did get fucking wrecked immediately. Just like she did, just like she's just like the worst, apparently. She was the worst one in the tournament. But they don't really go through that with you in these movies. Whereas the books, it's like they kind of make an emphasis to let you know, okay, Cedric won the first task. So, I don't know, just whoever. But they didn't really. I think they did go a little too actiony with it, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but at the same time, like, let's not make it the main focus. But that's just me.
But yeah, and I think I probably put Goblet of Fire as number 3, but I feel like Chamber of Secrets is definitely a close 4th. Like it's close for me, because that one also has a lot of. I mean, I don't. It might be more nostalgia at this point, but yeah, I remember like fond memories of watching Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah,
and of course, learning Harry could speak the snakes, which like you get hints at in the first. I mean, of course, you get it in the first one, but the second one where he's hearing voices in the walls, and he's like the mystery behind it was always so interesting.
Yeah. Damn it, I meant to put that in private chat. Be right back.
But anyway, yeah. So I think, So I would do Order of the Phoenix, Prisoner of Azkaban. I think Goblet of Fire, Chamber of Secrets, and then I don't know, probably Sorcerer's Stone, because that one, of course, is the nice, like, that's the, oh my god, we're visiting Hogwarts. Did you hear what I said? Like,
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Well, okay. Well, before we get that, what do you think of that list so far? Like, what's your number 3?
Oh God, my number 3. Okay.
Because it sounds like your 1 and 2 are similar, maybe a different order, but it's the same 2, right?
Yeah, I would say my top is. God, even now it's like I still jump back and forth. I'll say Prisoner of Azkaban as my number 1. And a close second, it's Order of the Phoenix. My number 3 will be. Chamber of Secrets.
Okay.
Yep, I like Chamber of Secrets a lot. You know, it's Chris Columbus, and yeah, he did the first two, and there's a lot of nostalgic feelings towards those first two movies.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Chamber of Secrets with that one.
And those two
Uh,
movies, not to sound like it sounds silly to say it like this, but I feel like those two movies had the most like magical feel to it, you know?
yes, yep, they sure did. I also just like the sort of I like the sort of what do you want to call it? It felt like kind of innocent, I guess. You know, watching these kids, trying to do shit on their own. I don't know.
Mhm.
I like the innocence of the characters and of the actors portraying these characters. Um, and honestly, at a close second, I would say Sorcerer's Stone comes in just
Mm.
below Chamber of Secrets, personally,
Okay.
for pretty much the same exact reasons. I just
Hmm.
like the darker feel of Chamber of Secrets. I felt like Chamber of Secrets felt a little more. I don't know if I want to say mature, but it felt a little. It felt like the stakes were higher. You know.
Yeah. Well, I also loved more of like the mystery in the second
Yes.
one,
Yep.
because the first one, I mean, like the first one kind of has that, right? Where you're like, oh man, why are these strange things happening? But I don't know. The first one, and I mean, I love the first one, of course, but I feel like, the first one was just kind of introducing you to the world. And I feel like the villain, it was like kind of not a throwaway, but you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, whatever, Whereas the
Yeah.
Chamber of Secrets, I feel like was to me, very memorable. Where you're
Mm,
like, who's Tom Riddle? Like, who is this guy? And then
yep.
you see the name, spell out Lord Voldemort. You're like, oh wow, that's him.
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know. And the ending, of course, the Chamber of Secrets. Oh, that hits you right in the heart.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so what's after that then for you? What's the next one?
Mm. God, what are left? We did that was four.
Yeah,
Okay. So I got four more left.
let's see. I said the first five so far.
Did you say the first five?
Yeah, so I said Order of the Phoenix, and then Prisoner of Azkaban, and then I'm going to go with Goblet of Fire, Chamber of Secrets, and then Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, okay. Well, I
So that's
said
my top
Sorcerer's
five.
as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck you. Um, okay. What's your number six?
It's tough. It's tough because here, the thing, obviously I like all the movies, right? Like I don't, but the
Mm.
thing is like,
Those last three are hard to place.
yeah, well, the thing is like it narratively, it definitely makes sense, but like I kind of missed the school like dynamic in the Deathly Hollows. I
Mm.
kind of missed like going to class and you know what I mean, having wacky teachers and homework. Like I don't know, I kind of missed that in the last two. And like I said, it makes total sense that, at this point in the story, I mean, things really, shit really hit the fan, right? Like it definitely makes sense why they didn't go back to school. But just for me, it's like, I did kind of miss some of the. My only
Yeah.
thing is the only problem I have with the Half Blood Prince is like, I don't know, the whole like teenage drama, like love interest drama to me, like, I don't know, it was nice because I guess it's a change of pace, but on the other hand, it felt very like, I don't know. I felt like it took away from like the important stuff. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like, oh yeah, here's like Voldemort and we got to save the world, and then we just cut to like Hermione being jealous of Ron or something. It just felt very like jarring.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So for me, I mean, I don't know. That's tough to put the next one. I guess I put Half Blood Prince as probably my next one,
Okay.
just because I like the school element of it. We get a little bit of backstory on Voldemort. I mean, not as much as the books, but we get some, backstory.
Yeah.
Dumbledore's death is shocking. It's always,
Oh,
you don't see that coming.
Here's the thing. Whichever one is placed last, it's still a good movie. I still like, no matter how my ranking goes for these movies, they're all good in my book. I still enjoy them. I have a great time watching these movies. I have a better time reading the books, obviously. But the thing with Half-Blood Prince is, even though I think it's a good movie, overall, having read the book before seeing the movie, it is the most disappointing of all the Harry Potter movies.
Oh yeah.
There was so much they could have done. I wish the romance stuff would have taken a backseat. I understand that in the book it is a huge part of the story, because it is. The whole jealousy of Hermione, Hermione being jealous of Ron, or jealous of Lavender Brown, I should say, being with Ron. Like that's in the book. She's very much trying so hard to be with Ron. Like she's been hiding those feelings. It's a big thing in the book. Same with Harry and Jenny. It's a big thing in the book. The thing is, when you try to break it all down into a movie, I would much rather see Voldemort's beginnings even before he was born. I would like to see all that stuff, because it goes to some dark places in the book. Like, we're talking, his mom was being abused by her brother and her father. She was in love with this guy that didn't want to be with her. So she ended up giving him love potion. They conceived Voldemort. They conceived Tom Riddle, but because the romance was a lie, I think, I can't remember how it happened, but he ended up leaving. He ended up leaving her, and I think she died. I can't remember. My memory is very hazy. It's been years since I've read the book. But it landed him in the orphanage, whatever. Voldemort comes back and kills his own dad. Because and the whole thing, the whole idea with the love potion was that because it was a lie, because they conceived Tom Riddle, under this love potion, he never actually truly loved. He never felt that love. He has no love in his heart because of that love potion. So that's lost on a lot of people who haven't read the books. So I can tell you right now, that's not going to be my number 6. That's not going to be my number 7.
What's your number 5?
My number 5?
Yeah.
What did I say that was?
Because you had.
Oh, sorry. No, my number 5 is Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Okay.
No, I like how the movie wrapped up. I did like seeing the action in the movie. I liked seeing the whole battle take place. I don't like some of the changes they made. I don't like how certain characters were sidelined the hell out of. So when you see them die, it's like, that sucks. I wish we would have spent more time with that character that we've known for years before they ended up dying. Like, I don't know, Fred. Because that part in the book was a lot more So that in the book was very sudden. It was like a shock and awe thing. Because so throughout the books, I think it was Goblet of Fire all the way to Deathly Hallows. There was a subplot with Percy, and because Percy was dropped completely from the movies after the second movie. He only shows up one other time, and that was literally for fucking Order of the Phoenix for like one scene where he didn't even speak. I think he showed up in a part, in like a little shot of Deathly Hallows Part 2, but that means nothing if you haven't read the books. But there's this whole subplot. God, someone's called me. There was this whole subplot where Percy was working with the Ministry of Magic. We see him working with the Ministry of Magic in the movies, but he's so far up the Prime Minister's ass that he completely disowns his whole family. Like, Percy doesn't show up for Christmas. He doesn't do any of that. Like, pretty much his own family becomes his enemy, because he's working for the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of takes a toll on the family, of course. So during the Battle of Hogwarts, everyone was surprised to see Percy there. That was a big moment. And that was like a kind of a moment where it's like, man, this dude finally woke up, and it's like, oh man, that makes you want to fucking cry. It's like, thank you for being here. Thank you for actually standing up for us and helping us. Well, of course, you're my family. It was so rewarding. And, they're in the middle of this battle, and Fred, I can't remember. Fred makes some sort of joke, and he like cracks some joke towards Percy as they're fighting, and he kind of like gives off a little laugh, ha ha ha, and then all of a sudden, bam, dead instantly. Oh. And the way it's described in the book is he was there lifeless with a smile on his face when he died.
Oh.
So that was very, oh man, that it was one of those things where it's like, you should have put that in the movie.
Yeah.
As far as like, oh, it might have been too dark. Okay, but like, we still saw Lavender Brown getting fucking eaten. Like, she was dying. Like, she literally was laying there dead. While Henry Greyback was biting away at her.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you see a close up of her face, and you see a tear rolling down her cheek, even though she's like dead and lifeless.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you could argue, oh, that was a little too dark, but at the same time, like, there are other things that were pushing the boundaries too. So I don't understand why that was any different.
Yeah. Is it I don't know if this is true. I read like like a rumor, or like someone said this, but is it true in the books that like, because Fred and George were twins, they kind of had like a special connection, and like after Fred died, I guess George didn't really have that anymore? Is that like you think it's ever like described?
I don't think so. I don't remember anything like that. That might be a fan theory at most, but I don't think that's actually a thing.
Okay, maybe maybe like you said, like a fan theory, or just some like.
Yeah, I think that's some sort of stuff. What else was there? Oh, yeah. Colin Creevy, the little kid from Chamber of Secrets that took the pictures.
Yeah.
Throughout the books, like, he's trying so hard to impress Harry. He wants to be like Harry, He's actually in the Order of the Phoenix video game. I think they actually got the same guy that played him in the movie to voice his character in the game. But so it surprised the hell out of me when I saw him in the game. But his whole arc was that he wanted to be like Harry. He was trying so hard to be like Harry. And during the Battle of Hogwarts, Harry finds out that Colin died because he wanted to prove something of himself. He wanted to be like Harry, and he died. You know,
Yeah.
and I think his little brother found him or saw him die or something like that. So yeah, that was sad, and it kind of adds that emotional weight for Harry because like fuck, like if I wasn't who I was, like he'd be alive right now, you know?
Yeah. Like he obviously didn't mean that to happen, but
Yeah,
yeah.
adds more emotional weight. So, all in all, like the book, the books do it better. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, long story short, that's my number 6, part 2.
Is okay. Okay. Is okay. Sorry. So yes, he's you. Wait, I'm sorry. So what's your list again?
Mine
So,
is Prisoner of Azkaban, Order of the Phoenix. Fuck, what else did I say? Chamber of Secrets, Sorcerer's Stone, Goblet of Fire, and then Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Okay. 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 Yes, I think for me, the more I think about it, I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, no, I think Order of the Phoenix for me is my favorite. Then Prisoner of Azkaban, then Goblet of Fire, then Chamber of Secrets, then Sorcerer's Stone. I think then Half-Blood Prince, and then I think Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first, I think Deathly Hallows Part 2 and then Deathly Hallows Part 1 is my least favorite. Because Deathly Hallows Part 1 was very intense, but I feel, there wasn't really any resolution because obviously it's Part 1,
Yeah.
And I just feel like the only thing that really happens in it that like really impacted me that I can think of is Dobby's death.
Yeah.
But even then, like I've read the first 4 books, and like from some stuff you've told me, it's like it was so much more impactful in the books.
Yep.
Right? Because like if anyone who hasn't read the books, I mean, Dobby's in the movies, he's almost never in the series.
Right.
Right? He like shows up in the second one, and then I think he does. I don't think he ever shows up ever again. Besides,
Nope. Then
I'm trying to think. I guess he's not even in the movies. Right?
no, he's
Until
not.
the 7th
He's
one.
not really in them at all.
Yeah. Because in the books, he's in them. He's actually in them a lot. He actually plays an active role.
There are only 2 books that he's not in, and that's Sorcerer's Stone and Prisoner of Azkaban. Those are the only ones he's not in.
Mm-hmm. So his death, I feel like in the movie, it didn't. It was sad, but it didn't feel that big of a deal because you're like, oh, okay. I saw him in Chamber of Secrets, but whatever. What are you gonna do? But like when you start reading the books, you're like, oh wow, he's such a more active role throughout the series that when you get to this point in the book, I would imagine it's significantly more impactful.
Yep.
So I think 7. I'll call it 7A is part 1. I think is my least favorite.
Okay.
But like you said, all of these movies are great. So I mean that's not really saying much.
Right. So it sounds like you just absolutely hate that movie. So that's shitty. But no. Okay. So I would place part 1 right under part 2. Because I think even though there's intrigue in the movie, they make some changes I don't care for. I don't know what the whole Harry and Hermione kissing naked thing. I didn't like that at all.
About that.
That didn't make any sense to me. Even just the whole love triangle thing where like Harry and Hermione are in the tent and they're like dancing. I I didn't think that needed to be in there. Overall, I think the movie just felt very. It was a little too slow. There were things that should have been in the movie, but weren't. Just like all the other movies, pretty much. It just they do have deleted scenes. These scenes are out there. They're on the Blu-rays of the special editions of these movies, but they're deleted scenes such as with Dudley and Harry that was in the book, but they cut for the movie. That would have been nice, especially since that's the last time Harry's supposed to ever see the Dursleys. They needed that in the movie, but they didn't do it. And I wish they had. The Dobby's death was very. It means nothing to people who have watched only the movies, right? With the books, I mean, we pretty much just said it. Dobby's in all the books except for Sorcerer's Stone and Prisoner of Azkaban. He's shown up. He's been a presence in these books for the entire series practically. So when he actually dies, it is a very impactful thing. And now, granted, I like his little, I guess, kind of speech, because it's different from the book. Because when he dies, like as he's dying, his last words are Harry Potter. That's about it. But in the movie, they changed it. So he's just like, oh, Dobby's happy to be with his friend, Harry Potter, whatever. So I did like that change. But again, for everyone who hasn't read the books, that means absolutely nothing. Well, I shouldn't say it means nothing, but it's not like it is when you read the books, because you actually spend time with this character. You spend time with all these characters and you just see them die. It's like, okay, well, I don't have that connection with them anymore. Or I only know them from this one movie, whereas in the books, Colin Creevey and his brother Dennis show up constantly in the books. Dobby shows up constantly in the books. Sirius shows up constantly in the books.
Very true. That's true.
So it's like, yes, I think the death scenes are done well, aside from Deathly Hallows Part 2. But for the most part, the death scenes are done really well. But at the same time, it means nothing when you don't spend time with these characters. So it's very disappointing. I really. Anyway, Deathly Hallows Part 1, number, what is it, 7 now?
So you're at least
you said 7A, B. I'm saying fucking 7 and 8. But my number 8 is absolutely Half-Blood Prince. I think that is the most disappointing movie of the entire series.
And coming from because you read the series before watching the movies, like right. Like you said, you had a lot of expectations going in of certain backstory.
So I haven't read. So I watched Sorcerer's Stone through Goblet of Fire before reading the books. But after Goblet of Fire came out, that's when I started reading the books. And I think that the first book I actually read was Order of the Phoenix. And like even then, there was so much context. There was so much that wasn't mentioned in the movies that I'm just like, well, I need all the books now, And my dad started getting the books after Order of the Phoenix, after Order of the Phoenix, like the Order of the Phoenix book came out. That's when he started buying them, and so like I read his copy after he finished it, and I pretty much did that with Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows, but after reading Order of the Phoenix, I had to get the other books, and so So I read all them. Then of course Half-Blood Prince came out and I had to read that. Then the movie came out, all that stuff. But Half-Blood Prince is a very disappointing movie because it feels very it feels like a filler movie. In my eyes, it just feels like a very much a filler. It's just there, and the only reason they're making it is because they have to, because of one specific thing at the end that happens, you know, being Dumbledore's death. That's like the biggest thing that happens. That's the only reason it feels like that's the only thing this movie was building up to. Whereas like the book, it feels like, okay, this is like the beginning of the end. You know, this is like, we have to figure out, you know, why Voldemort keeps coming back. We have to figure out his past. We have to go back and figure, you know, you don't really find anything out other than in the movie. We just see Dumbledore pick up, you know, Dumbledore introduce himself to Tom Riddle, and then Tom Riddle finds out about Horcruxes. That's the only thing we get to know. We don't get to know about his actual backstory. We don't get to know how he was at the orphanage. We, you know, in the book, it's like there were clearly signs, but Dumbledore was just like, yeah, he's just misguided, and I can teach him because he doesn't know what he's going through. So I can help this kid. That was the whole point. And the thing is, the whole movie isn't even centered around that. So you miss the point completely. People who haven't read the books don't even know what the fuck's going on. It was just, there were so many things they could have done. They could have put in the movie, but they didn't. And they just wanted to focus on this love triangle thing. They wanted to focus on everyone's relationships, which is fine. You can do that. But if you're going to do that, make sure you have something that actually pays off to the people that don't really care about the romances. Like myself. I don't give a fuck. If it was so hard to condense everything into one movie, don't do one movie. Just do two parts. You know, I would be content with Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince parts 1 and 2. Deathly Hallows parts 1 and 2. I understand it's hard to put everything in a 2.5 hour movie, but you got to figure something out here. And actually, I think Half-Blood Prince is actually the shortest Harry Potter movie. Or maybe it's, no, I think it's actually Order of the Phoenix. I think Order of the Phoenix is the shortest one.
Really?
I think so.
That's the longest book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say, it's funny because like I'm sure it would have made a bunch of money if they did split it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the actors. They're getting older. They want to move on to bigger and better things. That's fine. You can do that. Yeah.
And Daniel Radcliffe had a bit of a drinking problem, right? From what I heard. So
yeah, he also was fooling around with a hairdresser or a costume designer or something, and
really,
he was underage. So she was not. So I guess they swept that under the rug. Yeah,
you know, yeah, I remember, you know, because like I keep saying, I watched the movies and didn't read the books, and I read the first 4 books. And I have to get back. I want to get back to it, to be honest. But
so I want to get back to doing myself
there. But I remember, you know, when we were talking about like Half-Blood Prince and even Deathly Hallows, and like, yeah, like you said, some of the major story, you know, backstory is missing. Like, you know, like I remember in the movie, you know, you meet Dumbledore's brother, and he kind of hints on stuff a little bit, you know, about their backstory and like what happened with their sister, but they don't really actually go into it, at least not that I can remember.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, and like versus like, I mean, you obviously know more. I don't know if you want to go more into it, but like, you know, that whole cave sequence in Half-Blood Prince where Dumbledore's drinking that potion and he's like basically being tortured, right, by all these like bad memories and all this stuff.
Yep.
Right. And like in the book, you know, he he starts talking about like his sister and like the tragedy that happened to his sister that they don't
Well,
really show in the
he doesn't
movies.
actually talk about. He doesn't really say it, but he just keeps in the movie and in the book. He does start rocking back and forth, saying like, "It's all my fault. It's all my fault," and the book pays that off. The movie doesn't.
Because I was gonna say I don't know if you want to go into like what I mean briefly, but like what happens there, like what like because I mean he like him his brother hates him.
Mm-hmm.
You get that much from the movie. Like the brother doesn't like him.
Yeah.
There's something happened with the sister.
Yep.
But you don't really get the details in the movies.
Right. So in the movie, or I'm sorry, in the book, the Deathly Hallows book, when they meet Aberforth, they start talking about Ariana, like, oh, Ariana, and basically Aberforth kind of walks them through the whole story, basically saying like, Grindelwald and Dumbledore wanted to take our sister from me, and I got in the way, so there was a huge fight, and Dumbledore, Albus tried to kill me, but Ariana got in the way. He's like he would have if Ariana didn't get in the way. And to this day, he doesn't talk about her because it's so painful to him because he blames himself for it. And even in the Sorcerer's Stone, when Harry is talking to Dumbledore about the Mirror of Erised, and he's just like, oh yeah, basically tells him about what it does, what its purpose is. And he's like, yeah, you should probably put that cloak on and go back to bed. And he's like, okay. And he stops and he turns back to Dumbledore and he goes, Professor, I'm just curious, what is it you see when you look in the mirror? And he's just like, oh, when I go look in the mirror, I see a pair of woolen socks. And he goes, it's so funny because another Christmas has gone and all I get are books when all I just want are these woolen socks. And he's like, you should go to bed now, Harry. And there's a little sentence in there that says, it's like, Harry's not sure, but he feels like there's something more. He feels like that's not true. You know what I mean? So that already implies that there's some history there. And, of course, in Fantastic Beasts, they want to tell us that he sees Grindelwald in the mirror, which is bullshit. I hate that. Not his actual sister. So I hate that. But so essentially Harry's just like, well, I remember he was taking this potion when we were in the cave trying to get Voldemort's locket, or Regulus Black's locket, technically. And he's just like, he was mumbling and saying that it's all my fault. It's all my fault. Aberforth just confirms that. He's like, yeah, it's pretty much, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's disappointing that they didn't pay that off. All we get is a little comment saying, yeah, he sacrificed a lot in his quest for power, even his sister. It's like, come on.
But yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, no one knows unless you read the book. And it's like, I get it, but at the same time, come on. Pay it off.
Yeah. Dude, the books are so good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I started reading the books, and like the very first chapter, I think, mentions Sirius Black.
Yep.
Like they talk about Sirius Black.
Yeah, where'd you get that motorbike? Oh, I borrowed it from Sirius Black.
Yeah, and I was so cool because it's like, oh my, he's not even introduced to the third one.
Yep.
So it's so cool to like that, it makes it feel like this whole world, this whole universe, like everything was already existing. We just didn't know it, you know?
Yep.
Oh, it makes it so much better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's our ranking.
Yeah, I mean, mine's the correct ranking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No,
Literally.
I think we relatively agree. You know what I mean? For the most part. I mean, obviously there's differences, but I think we have the general gist of like the top half is relatively the same, the bottom half is relatively the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like similar sentiment. I mean, mine's correct, obviously. You know?
Yeah, okay.
You gonna trust a guy with a face like that? I mean,
oh, fuck off.
No, but yeah, it's sad, you know, in some of the because like we were talking before the show that you know these movies. I mean, Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out in 2011. You said right, so we're in 2023 now. So it's like, oh man, you know, there's so much time passing, you know, and these actors are, you know, we're all getting older, and so it's sad, you know, and some of these actors are passing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to think how much time has passed because, like, even now, it still feels weird that we don't get Harry Potter movies. You know, that we're done with the series.
Yeah,
because that was a big chunk of my childhood.
mm-hmm.
You know, and it almost felt like the end of my childhood. Excuse me.
Yeah, and it's funny because the characters like kind of grew up with you. You know, like I remember watching the Harry Potter movies, and you know, not for some reason, not really realizing that like for example, Daniel Radcliffe, like you know, obviously he starts out as a kid, but like throughout the series, he gets older. You know, like when Dumbledore makes that comment about you know you have to shave, my friend. Like it was just funny. I was like, oh, you know, I don't know. It's like it's funny. It's like I didn't even notice the changes watching the movies, you know, until you look back and then you're like, oh, he started out as a little kid in Sorcerer's Stone, you know, and now he's a man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something else. It's just such a weird feeling. You know, we were just kids watching these movies, and you know, like you just hit the nail on the head here. You know, we grew up with these characters, and we grew up like the series. It's very rare when a series can grow up with you. You know what I mean? It's like when you get older, it's like, okay, you're going to be facing some darker times in your life, especially when you're you know in your in your teens. You know, you start you know experiencing things, maybe doing things that you shouldn't. You know, it's just like I said, it makes you feel like it, it makes these characters that much more relatable, I guess. I do feel that, especially reading the book Order of the Phoenix, I feel more attachment to because you know, he's getting in that point in his life where it's like everyone fucking hates him, you know, and he has a rocky relationship with his friends, and he starts getting distant. You know, it's like, oh, what happened? What happened to your hand? Oh, nothing. You know, nothing. That it's fine. No, the other hand. Oh, you need to talk to Dumbledore and whatever. Yeah, if your parents found out about this, well, I haven't gotten any of those, have I, Ron? You know, he's very distant. He's very dismissive in the movie, and it's like I feel like a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
You know, and we all have that teacher that picked on us. You know, I remember I had that one teacher that fucking picked on me for literally everything. Fucking hated that bitch. I hated her so much. But yeah, it's something that you're not going to get a series like that ever again. I don't think so anyway. But
we actually had a teacher because we you know we went to the same high school. We had a teacher that reminded me a lot of Umbridge.
Is this the one with the Botox?
No, I don't think. I'm trying to think if she. Well, it was like she teaches like I don't know which one to call, like family living and stuff like that.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, yeah.
not as bad. Yeah, obviously the Umbridge is a character, but she reminded me of Umbridge a little bit, like a stickler for the
Um,
rules.
um, yes and no.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I wouldn't necessarily. No, I'm thinking about the Botox lady, the one that taught. I don't know, taught us how to fucking write checks, balance checks. No, I can't think of what.
oh, I think I know who you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She
Okay.
hated me. She picked on me a lot. She actually fucking
Really?
hated. All I had to do was walk in the room, and I remember giving her the middle finger, and my dad had to talk to me about that shit later on. Yeah, yeah, she pissed me off so bad because I never do that to teachers, but she just got me to that point, and I was like, "Fuck you." And, but yeah, I didn't like her. She clearly didn't like me for some ungodly reason. I no, I to this day I don't know what I did. Um, but anyway, I don't
Yeah,
want to
we'll
talk.
say a little little sidetracking.
But you watched uh you watched a couple movies, right? Sort of for the first time. Child's Play 1 and 2.
Yeah, Child's Play.
We didn't really
Um,
talk about it, but what'd you think of those movies?
I like them. They're fun. I mean, it's definitely like in general, they're definitely more silly. Of course, it's a literal doll, a children's doll is killing people.
Yeah.
And
It
there's some
makes
things.
me hate myself for being so afraid of those movies. But I was a kid, so whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and some of the things like there's some little things in the movie that like you laugh at. You're like, oh, how'd that happen? But that's
Yeah.
also I think the charm of it. It is supposed to be like fun. You know what I mean? Like it's not supposed to be a serious I don't know, Insidious or some kind of really deeply terrifying movie. I think it's supposed to be a fun slasher.
Mm.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. We saw the first two so far.
Yep.
And so we're going to
Yep.
continue watching them at some point.
So you at least get why I enjoy the movies.
yeah, of course.
They're fun. They're dumb fun. I do like those movies. Although after Child's Play 3, they all start becoming ass. The only one that I liked after Child's Play 3 was Curse of Chucky. That's the one where Brad Dourif's daughter is the main character.
Okay.
That movie's good. I don't know if I'll like it. I mean, it's been years. I haven't watched it since like fucking 2014 when it first came out, but I remember liking it then. I might like it now. I don't know. I'm curious to see if my opinion has changed on it.
Yeah.
But I hated Curse of Chucky, or not Cult of Chucky. Sorry, I hated Cult of Chucky. I thought that was so dumb.
Does that have his kid, his son?
No,
That's
actually that takes place after Curse of Chucky. I don't really want to tell you because there's a good way to describe there's a good way to tell you which movie that is, but it's kind of like it doesn't happen until towards the end, and I don't really want to spoil it for when we get to it.
Because I remember, I mean, again, I've only seen bits and pieces, but I remember like one of the movies. Well, I guess two of them, but one of them is like The Bride of Chucky, right? It's like where it's like his wife is a doll, but then. Unless it's I think it's a different movie. Yeah, I think it's another. It's the sequel. I think is where he has like a kid who's also a doll.
Yeah,
doll or something.
Yeah, so he does have a son, and he's like, it's kind of funny because he talks so much shit on his son, but yeah, Those two movies aren't very good. I prefer Bride of Chucky over Seed of Chucky for sure, but I don't know. The series has gone a little crazy. They do try to make it more comedic, which is fine. You know, it's not like the movies were actually trying that hard to be scary, but yeah, as a kid, it was terrifying. They do go more of the comedy route in the later movies, which is, you know, there's only so much more you can do. The Chucky series, pretty much the same. It's satire. You're not really supposed to take it too seriously. Although I wish they would stop making it so woke, but that's
what the show, right?
Yeah, the show's very woke, but I don't know. I think it's just dumb fun. Yeah.
And it is fun. Like, it is genuinely, like, the first two movies, I could definitely see, you know, I mean, we like just saw them, but I was gonna say, you know, but I was gonna say I would definitely like sit back again and be like, oh, yo, yeah, let's watch Chucky, you know?
Yep. Which one do you like the most so far?
Excuse me. So probably the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the second one, I mean, again, they're both fun. I just think the first one was probably a little bit more, like, I don't know what to call it, focused. You know, the second one's a little bit, it's like, okay, it was like, again, like they're both silly, but I feel like the second one was a little bit more silly.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like this killer doll that's been melted and they decide to remake a new doll with the same parts for some reason, and I guess that resurrects Chucky, and you know, like that, I found that kind of silly, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you're gonna think of the other ones. You know, but
and yeah, he's got to come back for all of them, right? So there's always going to be some crazy explanation.
Oh,
that's almost every horror movie. You know, I remember, like, even Nightmare on Elm Street, like almost every movie, it's just like, yeah, we you know, whatever thing to beat him, and then the next movie he comes back. You know, so you kind of have to just roll with it, you know. Like, don't think about it too much.
You know, I was at Walmart today. I ended up picking up a poster. I picked up a poster. But I saw one. I almost got it because it was Child's Play. It was Chucky. But I didn't get it because I didn't like how it looked, I guess. He looked a little too pretty. But yeah, I got this cool little poster. I was going to get both of them just to have them both, but I decided to go on with this. If I can get it out of the fucking thing. Yeah. Gonna have to full screen it here.
Oh, I understand.
How do I do that? Oh, fuck you. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm gonna have to get up for this. I didn't realize it was gonna be that big. That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So I'm gonna
that's cool.
I have to hang that up. I want to get a poster frame for it. I forgot to get one. But yeah, I like it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. And you said what, the other poster you were thinking of is a Chucky one?
Yeah. It was like him in a box. But yeah, I was thinking about getting that. I might still get it because there was one there. There was another one I saw. They didn't I can't remember what it was. But there was another poster I saw that I wanted, but they didn't fucking have it, of course. Oh, it was a Michael Myers one.
Ooh,
it was it was like a black and white one, and he was just kind of like standing in a doorway, but they didn't have it. I saw it. Yeah. I guess everyone and their mother bought one, but yeah, I saw that. I had to have it. So
yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So that was awesome. It was a nice little thing I saw, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, it's the best part about October. We're getting, you know, it's spooky season, they say.
Yep.
with
Yeah.
Halloween. Honestly,
I know.
Halloween might be my favorite like holiday.
Really?
Personally, yeah. I don't know. It's always
Basic
fun.
AF.
What do you like? Don't tell me Christmas.
Yeah.
You
Who
say
the
Christmas
fuck
carols?
doesn't like Christmas?
I mean, Christmas is cool.
Anything to say before I just kick you out?
Like you like Christmas.
Anyway, so we can't ever have him on again because he's dissing Christmas.
Oh, hey.
No, I don't necessarily like Christmas songs, you stupid bitch. But
Yeah.
I will say,
Oh, but you love Christmas. Do you love the cold?
I can't say I love it, but it's fine. Like
Mm.
I get by. I who wants to?
Yeah, Halloween's better.
Fucking therapist said.
You know what? It's at least it's not the forgotten holiday, which is Thanksgiving.
But like, who? I like Thanksgiving. I think
Yeah, me too.
Thanksgiving
But it's always
fun.
forgotten.
It gives me a reason to yell at my family members.
It gives me an excuse to eat like shit.
It gives me an excuse to eat like shit, and it gives me a reason to just yell at fucking everybody. Okay?
It's like that meme, right?
I don't even have a reason to yell at them. It's just that I can't yell at people at certain times because I work at a certain place, and I don't want to get in trouble for being too mean.
It's like that meme where it's like something, please don't get political. And it's like me after like 2 drinks. It's just like, closing his mouth or something.
Except all it fucking takes is for someone to be like, "Oh, the Mandalorian is so good," and then I fucking lose it. I'm done.
I love Baby Yoda, and you're just
what? But
yeah, no. Thanksgiving is always forgotten. It's
is.
like as soon as Halloween ends, immediately it's Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So
Christmas is overrated.
Well, the problem is they have Black Friday. As soon as Thanksgiving's over, it's like, oh, let's get to shopping.
And some places the sales are Thanksgiving evening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember sales where it was like 5 p.m. and I'm like, that's it's still Thanksgiving. It's one thing if it was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 at night, I can maybe justify that. But if we're looking at like 5 or 6 p.m., that's literally evening of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it really defeats the purpose of Thanksgiving.
Especially when Thanksgiving it's supposed to be a dinner. So it's like you're kind of cutting into that,
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh, I have to wrap things up. Gotta, I gotta hurry up and eat. Yeah, I love you guys, but I gotta get these sick deals on a PS5 or whatever. It's like, fuck you.
And then you go to these stores, you're fighting with people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want to be around people that I fucking hate, which is literally the general public.
Yeah, everyone.
I don't want to be around these people that are just going to be pushing and shoving each other. Fuck you. I'm not going to play your game.
Well, it's definitely a sight to see, but I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I've done it a couple of times, and I hated it every fucking time. It's one of the most miserable things.
I remember the one year I went to like the local Walmart, and they had like in the middle of the aisles, they had big pallets that were wrapped with whatever stuff that was on sale. And like it's literally like, let's just say the sale starts at 6. I mean, like 6 on the dot. People are literally ripping it with their hands, like getting, ripping open the, to get the stuff out. And it's like, it really was like The Walking Dead. I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
It's really not that big a deal. You're going to, I don't know. It's just funny. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it really, it shows the kind of people, it shows the kind of person that you are when you're out there, right? Like I was never really one to, jump on the things like that. When I was out, it's like, yeah, I'd like to get this if it's on sale, but like, it's not the end of the world if I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But people act like it is the one thing. It's like, oh, maybe my family members will actually love me. You know, it's like, fuck you. Like, they probably don't love you because you act like this out in public. That's why your family doesn't want to be around you. It says a lot about people, and it's actually really sad to see that we're all on Thanksgiving Day, we're all just like clamoring to these material things.
Yeah, and he's crazy in these deals that, like, I don't know. Like, obviously money's important, but it's like, really, is it that important that we got to spend time for or take time for our families? And
right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. But sounds to me like I mean, honestly, I went to Walmart for something and I didn't realize it was Black Friday because I went to Walmart to pick some things up before Thanksgiving, and it was a little busier, but it wasn't as busy as it could have been. And yeah, I was just like, oh shit, it's fucking Black Friday. I forgot about that. Or no, it was the day after Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, it was the day after Thanksgiving. I went to Walmart for something and I was just like, seems a little busier than it normally is, but it wasn't like unbearable like it was, the past few years. And then I'm just like, well, shit, they do the fucking Cyber Monday shit and they do all this.
Yeah. Well, the next day is always the aftermath.
That's true.
Like, I feel like I go to, like, let's say Walmart, and it's just like, it looks like it's been ransacked. It's just everything is everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how it's like I said, it's like I went a couple times more for the spectacle than even the sales, because it's just like it's just like, this is insane to see people flipping out like this.
Yeah, and people get into fights, and it's disgusting. And I think all of these people who act like that should be ashamed. I don't think I'm wrong for saying that.
It reminds me of it reminds me of The Dark Knight, where the Joker's like, all these civilized people.
They'll eat each other. Yeah. It's sad. Yeah. You know what else is sad? Rachel Zegler's career. Did you hear she got fired?
Yeah. Well, I heard. Well, I don't know. Is that actually confirmed? Because I heard that, but I don't know if that was like a joke or not.
So there is a very unreliable article saying that she got fired from Snow White. She didn't get fired from Snow White. She got fired from Paddington 3. Yeah, I've never watched the Paddington movies, but yeah, I guess she's being let go from that. I honestly don't know. I don't know why. It's all kind of speculation at this point, but I mean, it's got to mean something if she was let go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, obviously it's not the same movie, but like Snow White, just the things she was saying for the promotion of Snow White seemed very I don't know, seemed a little woke.
Yeah.
And like, she just seems a little difficult to work with if she's got those views. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I didn't necessarily hate her until she started opening her mouth about this Snow White movie. She was talking about like, oh, there's this guy who stalks her and this, that, and the other. And she's like, weird. It's like, no, that's not, you're being disingenuous saying it like that. You're not taking into account that it wasn't necessarily that he was stalking her. He wanted to figure out how to talk to her. That's kind of how it was. It wasn't supposed to be that he was stalking her. He was just like, yeah, I like this girl. I want to, talk to her. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, whatever. And, of course, the big talking point for her and Gal Gadot, of course, was that, oh, this is this is going to focus on a princess who isn't going to need saving, that she can handle her own, or all this other stuff. It's like, okay, so instead of remaking a movie and changing everything about the movie, why not make your own characters that can rely on themselves, that can, be strong female empowerment? Why can't you do that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you just said, it's like, why take a classic story and change everything about it when, like, why not just make your own story then? Like you said, just make your own characters, your own, your own different plot and story, and just do that. Like, why do you got to change the classics that we all grew up and love,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So yeah, I there's no hope for this movie. It's dead on arrival. Absolutely DOA. There's nothing about this movie that's going to be good. It really, I mean, you look at the cast for the dwarves, and it's laughable. It's absolutely laughable.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, one thing, like, to be fair, is that, like, I didn't really plan on seeing it anyways, just because, like, I don't know, I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna watch Snow White, like, it's not for me. But at the same time, like, especially after all this coming out and stuff, you're like, nah, it's like, it just does not seem good at all.
Right. And I also like to point out that it's not, because the original cartoon was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This one's just called Snow White. I just think that's very interesting. I think it's very interesting. That's just like, that's like when they made the classic fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
They did that one horror movie with the girl from the It movies a few years back, but they switched the names to where it's like Gretel and Hansel.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I remember that.
I think that's very interesting. And it, for the remake of Peter Pan, they couldn't just call it Peter Pan. They had to call it Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can't just, Peter Pan needs Wendy, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the original story, he's a hero.
Yeah. I don't really give a fuck about Peter Pan. I never liked Peter Pan. It was never my thing.
You don't like Peter Pan?
Do you?
Yeah, why not? He could fly. I don't know, the Lost Boys, right, or whatever. They never grow up. Yeah, it sounds good. Bad guy Hook, right? He's he's got one arm, he's one hand. It's pretty cool. He's a pirate. It's cool.
Disney is in shambles, and they're just.
Did you ever watch the movie Hook with Robin Williams?
I saw parts of it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. That's one Peter Pan movie I would probably be open to seeing.
Yeah.
I remember there was like one scene where he meets Tinkerbell for the first time or something. And he was like commenting on her legs or something. I don't.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the context, but yeah, he was like commenting on her legs. Like, yeah, you have really nice legs or something like that. It's like, that's a little weird, but all right, everybody's got their thing.
No.
No.
Oh yeah, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I just know he's like an older Peter Pan.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a Peter Pan who grew up, and he's trying to bring him back.
Robin Williams is great.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Huh?
I was gonna say, yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
We look back on some of his roles.
What was that one movie he did where he was like a doctor, and he would like kind of, I think he was a doctor, but he was at this children's hospital, and these kids were dying, so like he kind of puts on like a red clown nose and stuff like that. Do you know that movie?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think.
I want to see if I can find it. But I've always kind of wanted to watch it. I just don't know what it is. It seems like it seems like it would be a sad movie. Patch Adams. It's Patch Adams.
Patch Adams. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah, I've never seen it either, but it seems like it would be kind of sad. You know? Sometimes you need a little sadness in your life to get through the sadness in your life. So, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Listen, sometimes you want to watch a movie that makes you fucking cry, right?
True. Sometimes you got to feel something,
Yeah, exactly. I rewatched I Can Only Imagine recently, like a few weeks ago. I rewatched that, and that movie made me tear up. That's such a good movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is.
The ending is so, it's so impactful, and you're like, oh, as he's singing.
Yeah, that moment where it was like the end of the movie, and he's there are a lot of sad parts in that movie. There are a lot of parts that really tug on my heartstrings. The one that really fucking got me was when he's like singing, and then all of a sudden, like, he closes his eyes, and the audience, like, there's suddenly no one in the audience except for one person. And then he finally finishes the song. He opens his eyes, and he sees his dad just like with his big smile on his face, just the only person clapping, and then he kind of like goes back into reality. It's like, man, that's fucking rough.
Yeah.
It even got me when he like right before he sang the song. It even got me because he's like, "This is for my dad." I'm like, "Fuck," I remember showing that movie to my dad, my stepmom, and my grandparents. I showed that to them, and I've never seen my granddad cry. I've seen my dad cry a couple times. Sorry, Dad. But I've never seen my grandfather cry until showing them that movie, And even then he was hide it, but I was like, damn.
Yeah, like throughout the movie, his relationship with his dad was always very rocky. His dad was very, had his own demons, and was a little a little kind of crazy towards him, and that's kind of the song's about, right? Is that like if in his dying days, if the father found God, and forgiveness, that I don't know, it's kind of like it makes it all real, and true.
Yeah. Even in the movie, when he goes back home after pretty much his world was shattered, when they told him that he wasn't good enough for signing on to these record deals, he comes back home, and he hears his dad working in the basement or whatever, and he hears the saw going, and he goes, he just sneaks inside, just goes to bed, whatever. Comes downstairs, and all this food is sitting out. Like he was making breakfast. He's like, I can't do this. And then, his dad hears him. He's like, Bart, come in, sit down, whatever. He reluctantly sits down. He's like talking like, oh yeah, I've been reading about the Bible. And like, he's just very cold towards his dad. And you're watching it. It's like, clearly he wants to have his son back. He's trying everything. And, as someone who has shut certain people out of my life, like, I know how hard it is trying to get that person back, and it's so like seeing his face when he's just like, just give me a chance. He's like, no. And then you just see him kind of like back away. Like he's trying to hold back the tears. It's like, fuck, this dude really wants to make things right. And he can't, and,
Yeah.
I love the moment where he's just like, if God can forgive everybody else, why can't he forgive me? And Bart's just like, God can forgive you. I can't. Then he walks away. He walks out. His bike won't start, and then he decides, I'm just going to take dad's truck, gets in his dad's truck. Truck won't fucking start. Or no, he was looking for the keys or something. He pulls down the visor. He sees a pamphlet for his cancer treatment or whatever. And, I can't remember what he had exactly, but, he gets out of the truck. He goes up to the shed and he sees his dad wanting Bart to help him get his Jeep running. And he just sees him with a bat, just smashing that shit. Just like, you can see this man's fucking heartbroken. It's like, fuck, It's such a good movie. I like that movie a lot. So.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And it's based on his life, right? The main lead singer.
Yep. I'll never forget hearing that song on the radio for the first time. Because the person, whoever's on the radio was talking, and they were pretty much talking about the song before playing it. It's like, yeah, this new song, whatever. I was a pretty young kid. And they were talking about the story, about the backstory and everything, about why it was written and everything like that. And I was just listening to it. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's pretty amazing. And then the song plays. I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to cry, And I remember that was good. And when I found out they were making a movie, I didn't even know what the movie was about. I just saw the movie was called I Can Only Imagine It, and it had Dennis Quaid in it. And so I was like, oh, that reminds me of the song, And I clicked on the trailer just wondering if that's actually what it was, and it was. I'm like, I want to see this, And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Made sure to get that on Blu-ray. I was at Walmart today. Nefarious is actually on DVD now. I couldn't find it on Blu-ray, but it's on DVD now.
Ooh, okay.
I almost picked it up, but I didn't. But yeah, I saw that there. I wanted to get that. Yeah,
that's another movie that I think I feel like is underrated.
Oh,
I saw a lot of reviews of people kind of complaining about it. And I mean, like, I kind of get what they're saying. Because the main complaint was that the movie was very preachy.
Yep.
Which I could see it. I'm not trying to be, just dismissive. I could definitely see it's a little bit, at times, a little bit, which one call it, like heavy-handed, But for the most part, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a very, like, I don't know. At least for me, it was very interesting. It kind of made me stop and think about the world we live in, and just I don't know. It started to make me kind of think about things a little bit more. You know what I mean? Right. Like the morality of stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole point of the movie, is to kind of show that. But yeah, I completely agree. It's absolutely preachy. Well, there is a part in the movie that gets a little preachy, but aside from that, I don't think it's really that bad. It's not like they're trying to indoctrinate you.
No.
So,
and I kind of feel like I feel like it's also one of those movies that it's like, if you agree with it, then you'll like it, and if you don't agree with it, then you probably won't.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's made for a specific audience. So it's kind of like, if you don't like it, then it's not a bad movie. It's just not for you. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it just doesn't align for you, Yeah,
I mean, that it is what it is. That happens, but I don't know. I think
because even taking even taking like the messaging out of it, right, or like the preachiness of it out of it, Like I thought it was a very well made movie. Like it was, like the plot is very simple, right? It's basically two guys sitting in a room.
Yeah.
Like 99% of the movie. That's kind of all it is. Them just talking.
Yeah.
There's not even like that many other characters. There's like, maybe 5 other characters, but they're only in it for like 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like it's such a, like if you take it at face value, it's like, that sounds really boring. It's just two guys talking, but the conversation gets very heated. It's very interesting, very intense.
And Sean Patrick Flannery's performance in that movie was awesome. I loved seeing him just go from like this very this very diabolical, sinister person, nefarious person, and then like completely just switching it up and being like, just like bawling. Like you can see this man, you just see this broken ass man who's just terrified of dying. And he's going to be punished for something that he didn't even have control over, And, I loved that. I loved seeing that. He did a fantastic job, absolutely phenomenal job. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I think I already told you, The Fallen with Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah,
I say it's not obviously exactly like that, but like it reminded me of that that movie. That's another good one. If I don't think you ever seen that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, one day you got to see that.
I haven't watched many Denzel Washington movies.
Oh, you're one of those.
Listen, there was one movie I wanted to see we're talking when it came. Ever since it came out, I've been wanting to see it, and to this day, I have not seen it. Fucking Man on Fire.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Back when Dakota Fanning was like a child, ever since that, I've been wanting to see that, and I've never watched it.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I hear it's one of his best movies.
Yeah,
it's like the fact that I haven't seen it yet after all of these years, because it came out in probably like 2004, 2005, give or take.
Did you ever watch Training Day?
I've seen parts of it. I do want to sit down and watch the whole thing. I do like that Antoine Fuqua. I think he's a great director. He did the Equalizer movies, all 3 Equalizer movies. I think he did Olympus Has Fallen. That's a good one. He's done a lot. He's done a lot of good movies. So, what is your favorite Denzel Washington movie?
I don't know. I gotta look up only because I feel like I'm gonna like forget something. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's been in a lot of movies. I mean, he
has. He sure has.
What's that? Man, I don't know. Have you seen Fences?
I have not. That's fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Was it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
Looking at some of his list here. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. That's a good one.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, I thought that was good.
American Gangster. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's a good one.
I've seen parts of that.
Yeah, remember the Titans, of course.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And Fallen.
Unstoppable.
That's a good one.
That was good.
That is a good one.
I've never seen the Book of Eli.
What's the I forget. I know what the movie's called. I have to. John Q. You ever see John Q?
I have not.
Oh, that's an intense movie.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it might be based on a real story. I don't remember, but basically his son, like his child's son, like needs like a heart transplant, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
And I think is it a heart well, whatever. He needs some kind, I think a heart transplant or something, but like, they don't have they don't have any like donors, like they don't have anything to give him. And so like he ends up holding the hospital hostage, like with a gun, saying like, save my son's life.
Yeah.
And then the police come and they're obviously trying to de-escalate the situation. And, of course there's more to it, but that's the general gist. It's like him holding them hostage, but not for any money. It's to help my son, help his son,
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
very intense.
That does sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be to watch that.
Yeah, John Q.
Sounds good.
Yeah, as far as my favorite though, I don't know. That's tough. He has a lot of good ones.
I haven't watched a whole lot of his movies, but I would say The Equalizer for me.
The Equalizer, yeah, that's a good one. I kind of, yeah, I don't know. Maybe John Q. I feel like I kind of want to say Unstoppable, only because it was so shocking when I first watched it. Like, I had no expectations. I was like, okay, he's a train conductor, like what's, who cares? And then, but like the movie was very shockingly, intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He has a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, he's definitely, and he's based as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love that man. He's great. I remember he was asked about like what his politics were in like an interview on the red carpet, and he's like, "Who cares?" Like, I'm an actor. Who cares? Who cares what my politics are? It's like, that's fucking based as hell.
It's so true. It's so true. It's like I want to watch like fun movie stories or entertainment. I don't care about your personal politics.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, I was so shocked, and he was like ripping into this guy, and he's just like, yeah, it was just so funny. I do think Denzel Washington's one of those really, he's a man you can respect, even if you can't agree with him on certain things that he may have said. And I don't even know anything that he's actually said because he doesn't make it public, but like, you can respect a man for that. Someone who's just like, he doesn't blame race. He doesn't talk about politics. I think that's perfectly fine. We don't have to do that. When we're talking about entertainment, that's like the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah. And I think he also has pretty reasonable takes.
Yes.
Like, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, at least like it's reasonable. It's like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, even if I don't personally agree,
Yeah.
Like, I saw a video
like a dude that if anyone were to want to adopt, if I wanted anyone to adopt me, it would be him.
To adopt you?
Please. I wish Denzel Washington was my dad.
Permission to call you dad.
Oh God.
Because I saw a video
about that, right?
Yeah.
Star Trek. Yeah. For anyone who happens to come across this and is enjoying this, there's this Star Trek VR game that I played a lot of, actually, and I'm not a big Trekkie guy. I'm not into Star Trek like that. But there was this VR game, and they actually changed it so you don't have to use VR for it. But it was a fun little like team building exercise kind of game where it's like you had 5 players. It was like a 5-player deal, and one person was like flying the ship. Someone else was the captain, pretty much barking orders at everybody. There was someone who was in charge of like the shields and power stuff. So like, they would convert power to shields or lasers or whatever. There was someone who was like manning the turrets and shit. All this stuff. It was pretty neat. It was fun. And there was this one day where I was playing one night with just some randoms like you always do. And I was getting on this one guy's nerves because he was the captain. And he was the captain, and I just kept getting on his nerves. You know, he just kept like getting mad at me because I wasn't following his orders as usual. And we played a couple games, and one of the games I turned to him and I was like, Captain, I was the helmsman, so I was flying the ship, and he's like, yes, helmsman. I was like, permission to call you dad? And everyone's laughing. Everyone's just like, you know, whatever. And this one dude's just fucking losing his shit. And he goes, permission not granted. You must call me captain or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, there were like some asteroids around the ship, just floating around the ship. And, you know, it wasn't going to do anything, but I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking warp into this asteroid real quick. And he's like, no, helmsman, do not warp into the asteroid. I'm like, fuck it, I ain't no bitch. And I fucking just cranked that shit. And the dude's just laughing. We warp right into it, and we're going into the mission and everything. And like, even the guy who was so done with my bullshit just was like kind of laughing at me. He's like, okay. He's just like, look, I'm trying to go for I'm trying to be immersed here, and you're ruining it. I'm like, yeah, I have that effect on people.
Yeah, I do that.
I do that a lot. That's funny. I've tried playing that game. Like, I tried playing that game like last year, and no one plays it anymore. It's so depressing.
Oh yeah.
You know, because, you know, to be honest, it was very fun to play. I really liked playing that, and you just can't play it anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, it was fun though. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. You just talk to random people, and as soon as I got into one game one day, like I got into this lobby, and they were these British guys. These British guys were just like, there was one British guy. One of the British guys was fucking just losing his shit over something. And he's like going on a rant about something. He immediately turns to me. He's like, oh, Nate, fuck you. I was just like, what the hell? I just got here, dude.
I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't do anything. I mean, not yet, at least.
Yet. God, yeah, I'll give you a reason to get mad at me. Just give me a second.
Yeah, just give me a chance. I'll give you a reason.
But that was fun. I like that a lot. You know, it's so funny. When I was getting ready for this stream, I was trying to start out with Ahsoka so we could get it out of the way. And here we are. This is probably the last thing I want to talk about. We didn't talk about. We forgot. Well, I forgot to talk about Ahsoka last weekend.
That's right. I'm a professional.
I almost. Please. I almost forgot to watch this new episode today. I literally watched it like minutes before starting the stream. You watched it minutes before starting the stream. What did you think about the last two episodes of Ahsoka?
Well, so episode 6, Ahsoka wasn't really in it much.
I don't think she was in it at all.
Well, she was in the very beginning. She was like in the ship.
Okay.
But like, I mean, literally like, what, a minute or two? You know what I mean? Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Okay. I guess here's the general for every episode at this point. It's just like the acting to me is just so bad. Like every moment that's like supposed to be important, it just doesn't feel it at all.
Yep.
Like we talked about a little bit last time where like Sabine in episode 6, like Sabine reunites with Ezra. Right, which is like a big moment. They thought he was dead. He's been gone for a while, but like the acting, she's just so like weird about it.
Yep,
like it was so awkward. It felt like almost like you're seeing a colleague, you know, where it's like, oh hey, what's up?
Yeah, someone that you haven't seen over the weekend. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're just meeting up with your coworker for Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly. It just felt so weird to me. I was like, this is supposed to be like someone who, again, they're missing for how long at this point? They thought he was dead, risking
Yeah.
their lives to save him, and that's the reaction.
Yep.
And then we also touched on last time about Thrawn and his the actor is he's a little chubby, let's just say.
Yeah, he's he let himself go. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird for Thrawn.
Well, I also thought it was weird that he was smiling. It looked like he was just smiling, like he had a permanent smile on his face.
He's happy to be there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that at all. He just I don't know. He just came off as like he was having a great old time. I don't know. And they tried, to their credit, they did try to make it like this big thing, but it doesn't feel like it. So I don't know if you knew this, but the same guy that voiced Thrawn in Rebels comes back for, this show. He's like, that's literally the guy that voiced him in Rebels.
Okay.
But it also makes you wonder, okay, well, if they were willing to get him, he's very much out of shape. If they were willing to get him to play Thrawn, why didn't they just get Ashley Eckstein to play Ahsoka?
Yeah.
Place, but I don't like the designs. I think his name's like Captain Enoch. I don't like his design, where it's like that face into the stormtrooper helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that look. It looks like something from the Power Rangers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it just doesn't fit with like the futuristic Star Wars look,
Yeah. And I don't know if they were trying to make it so he stands out, but it looks terrible. It looks awful. I even in this episode, I'm sick of seeing him. But it doesn't feel like, none of it really feels like a threat.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, they build up Thrawn, but especially as someone who hasn't seen Rebels, it's like they don't do a good job at showing like why that's a big deal.
Right.
It's like, okay, he's back, whatever. He just seems like a at this point, he's just like basically an apologist, right? Like an empire, for the empire. Like, that's basically
yeah,
all it is. Like, I don't really understand what makes him such a threat to the Republic, because what, he's smart? I mean, it's like, come on.
Well, yeah, he just doesn't come off as intimidating. As far as his voice goes, some people apparently don't like his voice. I think it's fine. I don't really have a problem with how he sounds. It's just how he looks. He doesn't look intimidating. Like I said, he looks like he's just smiling, and he's gone to fucking Dunkin' Donuts a little too many times. He just doesn't. He doesn't come off as menacing to me. He really doesn't. Also, just like in Rebels, just like in the Clone Wars, we get more fucking wolves. I don't understand what Dave Filoni's obsession with wolves is. It's like he's a fucking furry or something.
Yeah.
Seriously, like he has this obsession with wolves. I mean, I get it. Wolves are cool, I guess. You can find wolves cool. That's fine. But why do they have to be in Star Wars and everything that you do in Star Wars? So that kind of bothers me. But
my biggest thing with Thrawn, I think, is that, like, although it's silly that he's obviously chubby and whatever, I feel like I would look past it if they brought all of the voice actors for the characters to come back, because then it's kind of like, oh, okay, like you're recreating, live action with the same voices. And, I can at least, give it a pass. personally, if that was the case. But the fact that they replaced Ahsoka, you know what I mean, with someone who, like the voice actress, like, you know, if you show a cosplay of her, like she actually does look like Ahsoka, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have a picture here. If you just, you know, if your emperor would approve, my lord. No, but yeah, like, you know, it's like she looks like Ahsoka to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't see what's so like. Why'd you have to replace her? You know?
And I'm sure she's a lot more nimble than fucking Rosario Dawson. You know? I just don't. I don't know. It's weird to me. Maybe it was more or less a voice thing, but at the same time, I prefer hearing Ashley Eckstein's voice over Rosario Dawson's voice. Right? So, I mean, yeah, you could argue that his voice was quite iconic, but I mean, this right here, it's like at least she looks like she can play the character. She genuinely looks like Ahsoka. But
I completely agree. And I think, I mean, I don't know. Okay, I think she's a couple years younger than Rosario Dawson.
And that's fine.
Which I mean, but like, so I mean, they're about the same age though. So again, it's like, what, like, why not just like if you're gonna bring almost every other voice actor to play their roles in live action, why not bring her back?
Yeah.
Like I said, she actually looks like Ahsoka. Obviously, the voice is gonna match, and from what we could tell, based on the whole series up to this point, they don't seem to care about acting. Like,
yeah,
that's like the biggest complaint I have that tunes me out of it is the acting. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't. I don't know. It's pretty fucking sad because I've it's this has just been so forgettable, you know, like even yesterday I was like, shit, I didn't even watch the new episode of Ahsoka. There's just nothing going for it. They even tried to use Hayden Christensen again in this episode. So I don't know, man. It sounds to me like, and you even told me earlier that we only have one more episode left. It doesn't even feel like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even fucking feel like it. Ezra in the show, in Rebels, has blue eyes. That's just a trait he has. His eyes in this show look really CGI. It looks like he's not even human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't come off as like a normal person. Whereas, like, I might actually have the one of the seasons out that I can show you what his eyes actually look like. Give me a second.
I think with Ezra, and again, I haven't seen Rebels, so you know, this is just coming from like an outsider's perspective, but it's like he seems pretty powerful. It's like I don't really understand how much training he actually got. And like that part where they're going back and forth on who gets the lightsaber, Ezra or Sabine, it's like, dude, what? Like Ezra should absolutely take the lightsaber. He's going to be much better, much more skilled with it. You know?
Well, the thing. So, this pisses me off. When when Ahsoka reaches out to Sabine using the Force. So first off, I knew. Oh my god, I saw this coming a mile away when Hu Yang was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll try to reach out. I can't get a hold of Sabine, but I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying to reach out. You know, boost the signal, whatever." And like right away, I was just like, "Oh, that's easy. Just use the Force, right?" And then Ahsoka's just like, "Hang on, let me try something." I'm like, "Here we fuck," because the Force can fix everything. The
It can do
Force is
everything.
all, like literally everything. You can now contact people who aren't even Force sensitive using the fucking Force.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my god, that pissed me off so much. I couldn't believe it. It just blew my fucking mind. I was like, wow. And yeah, oh, you know, I don't need a lightsaber. You know, it's yours, whatever. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Oh god, it pissed me off.
Well,
But
like, it's crazy because he's absolutely, yeah, that's the meme.
yep.
Like, no, I don't need a lightsaber and a blaster. And then it just a minute later picks up someone else's blaster. It's like, okay.
Yep. Actually, are you able to zoom in on his eyes there? Are you able to zoom in on his face?
No. That's kind of it.
Shit. Because I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really see his eyes in that picture. But like his eyes are almost like glowing in the show.
Like a
I have
really
this
light blue.
I don't know if it's gonna show up very well. Let me see. Yeah, that's perfect. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see his eyes.
Yeah, like a dark blue, it looks like.
Yeah. But like here it looks like they're glowing. Like in the show in Ahsoka, it looks like they're glowing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, to me, it was just it's weird from an outsider looking in because I haven't seen Rebels. Because like, at least my takeaway is Ezra looks like he's pretty strong in the Force. Like he was handling guards like it was nothing. When Shin Hati swung with a lightsaber, he blocked it with the Force.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was definitely pretty skilled. Like I think he definitely, like in the brief clips that he's in, seemed like he's better than Ahsoka. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, yeah, that's why I found it so silly when he's like, "No, I gave the lightsaber to you," when he's talking to Sabine. And it's like, okay, but she's a Mandalorian who has 2 blasters and armor. Like you're a
she
Jedi.
has melee training.
Yeah, and like you're a Jedi with no weapon. Like even just why not just take the lightsaber just in this instance? You know what I mean? Like you can give it back to her.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, I'm sharing my screen now, but yeah, like if you look at his eyes on the right here, it just looks like he's not necessarily human.
Well, I was gonna say even that picture, I feel like they kind of colorized it, like they kind of made it look more like the cartoon than it actually does.
Right. Yeah, it feels. Let's see if.
Because his eyes are like.
Of course, I picked one where he looks stoned out of his fucking mind. Damn, these are all coming out pixelated. Take our word for it; it looks bad. But
yeah, I was gonna say like to me it's a very light blue, like you said, almost like it's like glowing.
Like they're glowing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. Whatever. It's just, yeah. I was actually half expecting him to break into a song, like an Aladdin song. It really felt like that when he was fighting. It felt like he was about to break into like that one jump ahead of the whatever the fuck, you know. But it really did feel like that, and I don't know. I just, the thing is, these are cartoon characters now in live action, where they acted in the show, they acted very cartoony, you know, and now they're in live action, and it clearly isn't working out for them, because a lot of people seem to be like, dude, this is like, either they're lost or they just think that the characters are very boring and bland, whatever. Clearly something's not working out for them, and it's kind of sad, you know, but
yeah,
it is what
like,
it is.
Yeah, because like quite literally everybody's acting is pretty bad. I mean, the only people that kind of stand out is what, Ray Stevenson.
Oh
he
yeah,
actually brings character. I thought Ezra was fine actually. He kind of he kind of like seemed like fun, you know.
yeah, he was okay.
But I'm trying to think, like, that's kind of it. Like, again, Sabine to me is bland. You know, Ahsoka's
Nice to
bland.
look at, you know, if she had longer hair like in the first 2 episodes, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, even Ahsoka training, like with the Anakin hologram or whatever, like even then she looked slow.
Yeah, and she's like moving really slow.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm glad you brought that up, because I completely forgot about that, because I wanted to bring that up too. You know, like when she's training, she's like moving really slow and just like, oh, you know, it's like,
see what's like, it's trying to be badass, where it's like, you know, like she's like going like that, and it's like, yeah, but it's slow. Like you could tell it's not fluid. It's
when she has the 2 lightsabers, she kind of like thrusts backwards behind her. It was very slow. I'm like, really? It's like, what? Are you afraid to use them all of a sudden? Are you scared you might cut something in that open area? Like, are you afraid of slicing Anakin's hologram? Like,
yeah, watch out.
yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like story wise, I honestly can't even tell you what, like, because like we said, there's one more episode left in the season. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know, honestly, like, what's the
right?
Like, what's even the big conflict? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Thrawn's back, I guess.
Right. Like, also, what did you think about C-3PO showing up?
Yeah. Because, you know, everyone in Star Wars knows everyone in Star Wars.
Yep.
A big
galaxy.
Yep.
Now, granted, they, you know, Hera did fight in the battle. Well, I don't know if it was the Battle of Endor, but she was very much involved in all that. And her being a general, I can believe that she knows Leia. I think they actually meet Leia and C-3PO in Rebels. I think that is a thing that they end up meeting. So, whatever. But I don't know, it just felt very forced. It felt like, okay, we're running out of cameos. Who else do we have? C-3PO, great. Anthony Daniels, he's willing to come back, you know.
Especially because he could just voice it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's older. He's not going to be in the literal suit. So he's just voicing it like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know. I just, also, it was like the, I guess the guards stopped him and they were looking for, they were just like, oh, where's your identification? He's like, I don't need identification. It's like, well, yeah, you're a fucking droid. Why are they even asking? Like, I didn't understand that. I thought that was so weird. Also, you got the one fucking council guy, the one dude who's just, I mean, to his credit, I think he's pretty fucking based, because he just seems to be throwing out that hashtag doubt all women mentality. This dude does not like Hera. I think he's pretty fucking based, if you ask me. But I want to pull this up. Let me see if I can find it. How did you feel about the courtroom in Ahsoka? in the episode. How did you feel about that courtroom scene? Like, it looked very generic to me.
Oh, I mean, I didn't really pay attention to it, but like at the same time, nothing really stood out. Like it just kind of felt bland. I don't know. It was just a regular courtroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here, I'll pull it up real quick. It just looked very lazily done. It didn't even feel like it was in the Star Wars universe. Hang on. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. But whenever it pulls up for you, it just looks very. It doesn't look like Star Wars at all.
Okay, I can see it now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a Star Wars setting. It just looks very bland, and
I mean, symbols.
Was this actually supposed to be on Coruscant? It was, wasn't it?
Yes. I think the
episode
before. I'm trying to think. I think the episode before they say like, Hera, like we need you to come back to Coruscant.
Okay, yeah. So this is also on Coruscant. This is also a courtroom on Coruscant. There's actually a better view here. That's kind of what it looks like. That's in season 5. I think that's season 5 of the Clone Wars. And then you go from this, which kind of looks kind of cool, to this, this fucking shit. And you look at this right here. This doesn't even look like this shot right here doesn't even look like something from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even know.
Well, it also changes the entire like feeling you get, because like when you go to the dark image, like it looks menacing. It looks like you're being judged. Like it's a dark room. They're all sitting above you, circling you, right, all around you. They're looking down on you. Like you feel being judged. Like wow, But in this show, it's like it just looks like a regular. It's there's nothing really there. It's very light. The colors are very light. Right. Like everyone's pretty much equal level. Like like there's some of the judges are a little higher up, but like not really. It's like you're kind of like what I mean. It's not like feet above you. It's like a couple inches. You look up to them, whatever. Like it feels totally. It looks like different.
It looks like you're watching something from like Law and Order. That's what it looks like to me, and it just goes to show they don't. How big of a budget do they really have for this show? You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I don't think a lot. You could see it with the acting. Like they probably did like 1 or 2 takes. Like, oh, just move on. It's good enough.
Yep. What else happened in this?
I mean, it's a little weird too. I'm kind of confused because like at one point Ahsoka gets there, right? Like lands in the galaxy and whatever. And which, by the way, first, even that to begin with is already a huge stretch. And like just because you point it out in the show doesn't mean it just goes away. Where the robot's just like, oh, like, how do we know we're even in the same just because we're traveling to another galaxy doesn't mean it's the same galaxy as Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, how do we even know if it's the exact planet that we're going, it's the exact planet we're supposed to be on?
Yeah.
And like planets are big. How do we know even where within the planet? Like there was so many factors that they mention it, but they just hand wave it away with a joke.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, that was already kind of stupid.
Yep.
But I was just gonna say, like my thing, I was kind of confused is like Ahsoka gets there, right, and it triggers Thrawn's like defenses to go after her, right? Thrawn tells them, just don't follow her, like stop. because if she's anything like her master, she'll be very like, very the exact word, but like headstrong. Like she'll just jump into battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, don't follow her. We'll pull back and wait for her, was his plan.
Yeah.
Right. Then, some stuff happens, whatever. Then it shows the 3 Night Sisters zeroing in on her location using the Force or whatever. And then Thrawn tells his fleet to go after Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like it was very odd because I was like, didn't you just pull them away? Like he told them, don't follow her, pull away and let her come to us. But then as soon as they found her location, they just went after her again. Like it just felt very odd to me. It was a very odd, like I didn't understand what his plan was,
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe I just misunderstood. I don't know. I mean,
well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even remember that because I think I was I went up to get something. I don't know. I was eating at the time. I think I went to throw out my trash.
You were just mentally just trying to get through the torture.
Yeah, I did overhear the part where Thrawn was just like, "Oh, her master is Anakin Skywalker," and he's like, "That's so interesting," but it didn't feel interesting. Just felt like something he just read about.
Well, it's cool because he says it like, "Oh, General Anakin Skywalker," but it's like that doesn't. Like, I don't know if they even have a history together, so I don't know if that means anything. Does Thrawn know who Darth Vader is? You know what I mean?
I don't necessarily
that wasn't like public knowledge.
I don't necessarily know what his relationship with Vader is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the new novels, like the new Thrawn trilogy novels, Thrawn and Vader have moments together or they team up for something. So I don't know if he finds out there, but
because I was gonna say, like, I would expect Thrawn to know, like, obviously he's met Darth Vader, but like I don't know if like the name Anakin Skywalker would really be passed around that like people in the Empire would even know who that is.
Well, considering not many people know who Darth Vader was, I mean, even Obi-Wan, according to Disney canon, Obi-Wan didn't. Well, I guess in the EU, Obi-Wan didn't actually know who Vader was at the time. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is
obviously Obi-Wan figures it out later, but
that's getting a
in Disney canon, Obi-Wan thought Anakin did die.
Yeah. And that's getting a season 2, right? Obi-Wan show?
I think they decided not to do that.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
I want them to make it. I think it'd be fun. Make them lose more money.
I don't know. They might make it. If they do a continuation of that show, it might be fucking... they might just turn it into a movie.
Sure, why not? I say put as big of a budget as you possibly can.
Yep. Get expensive actors. You know what? Throw Liam Neeson. Make Liam Neeson a main character. Give Qui-Gon Jinn the limelight for the movie. Get Hayden Christensen back. Throw in Samuel L. Jackson. We all know they want to try to figure out how to bring Mace Windu back. So why not with the Obi-Wan movie?
That's true. Bring him back.
Why not? I can't believe people are campaigning for Mace Windu to come back. I can't believe that's a thing.
I know. It's like, well, like, because he's a cool character, but like, it doesn't make sense in the canon,
Well, yeah. I mean, none of the people they brought back makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's including Darth Maul, which, I liked his arc in the Clone Wars. I thought it was a cool arc.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing him back was stupid.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, like the dude got cut in half and fell down the whatever the elevator shaft or what, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was angry, he was able to come back, I guess.
Yeah, his anger is what kept him alive.
It's like, sure, dude, sure.
Yeah,
I feel like Count Dooku was probably pretty angry. I don't see him walking around with just a head.
He's reanimated his body. Now he has a robot head.
Like, yeah, it's just a head with like a spider body.
Yeah. I'm so ready for this show to be over.
I know.
I'm
Forced
just
me to watch it for this for this podcast.
I didn't force you to watch it. I said I was going to watch it for this shit. You chose to watch it.
But I have to watch it because then otherwise.
I didn't say you had to watch it.
Yeah,
never once did I ever say, "Hey, I need you to watch this for this show."
I don't believe that. Well, the good news, we have another 30 to 45 minutes because one more episode.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a long 45 minutes. What if they make this a fucking hour episode or an hour and a half? I would. Oh my god, I'll self delete.
Self delete. Well, you know what it's gonna do. It's gonna end. I would imagine it's gonna end with the words like Ahsoka will return.
Oh god. Yeah, I know it will.
Because this is setting up a movie.
Yeah,
right?
they'll advertise some sort of movie.
Yeah, like the end of the episode, I'm sure Thrawn's gonna head back to our galaxy, and Ahsoka's gonna be like, "Oh no, we gotta stop him," and then it just ends with Ahsoka will return.
Yep. Throw on the fucking Terminator theme song while you're at it. Fuck, I don't care. Do whatever. Oh no, Thrawn went back, and then it's just like, and then it's just like a close up of Ahsoka's face, and she's like, "We're fucked." I want her to literally say, "We're fucked."
Fucked.
And then it like cuts black where it's like, dun 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 dun. I want them to throw every cameo. And I'm not talking just cameos from like the Star Wars universe. I want to see Sarah Connor. I want to see fucking Rambo. I want to see Harry Potter. Let's throw Harry Potter in there. Let's just get every cameo we can. I want to see Luke Skywalker fighting alongside Gandalf. I want it all. Just throw it all in there. I don't care. I want to see King Kong. I want to see Godzilla. Let's have an all-out battle royale with this shit.
Godzilla. God, the show is so disappointing. Remember for a brief second we were trying to theorize who what's his name? Marok,
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Led to nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. We got one more episode. We'll see. He still shows up like he still shows up at the title card thing, like the intro thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Does he really?
Where it shows all the characters and everything.
Oh, really? I don't even pay attention.
Yeah. He's been showing up a lot there. So I don't know if they're actually meaning for him to be there. I don't know. I think it's really weird that they're kind of throwing him in there because like he only shows up like twice and dies. Mm-hmm. And he just turns into some fucking fart smoke. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I'm over it. I'm so ready for the show to end.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's funny because it's like each episode, like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like as I watch it, I'm like, okay, what can I talk about right on this show? And I'm like, there's really nothing. It's just like nothing happens. Like
there's
nothing.
Can't describe it. Yeah, no, I agree. There's nothing to really talk about for each episode because it's just what I said before. They do these shows, they turn these ideas into a show, and both Star Wars and Marvel, where it's like it's a show, but it has it has such a simplistic plot that it should only be a movie.
And even then, a short movie, like 90 minutes at most.
I don't know. I don't necessarily. Well, yeah, maybe 90. Yeah, no, 90 minutes.
Honestly,
you're right.
Because 8 episodes, each one's like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, like on a couple of them.
Yep.
So it's like, and this is stretching it too. That's that's not even including the fact of all the filler and fluff in these episodes.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I would. I mean, like I said, a shorter movie. Maybe.
And there's never like Star Wars. Historically, Star Wars has not been under 2 hours. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. A New Hope, the original Star Wars was like an hour and a half, I believe. But
maybe,
everything else, I believe, was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Maybe Return of the Jedi was an hour and a half. That movie feels kind of short when I watch it, but
A New Hope is 121 minutes. So 2 hours and a minute.
Okay, so okay. Well, what about Return of the Jedi? Because I feel like that's like an hour and a half.
So like, get wrecked. 131 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay, that movie feels shorter to me for some reason. What about Empire Strikes Back?
Oh my god. Let's see. Empire.
That has to be about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, 124 minutes.
Okay, so yeah,
it's 2004 minutes.
So yeah, I mean, realistically, every Star Wars movie has been at least 2 hours or more.
Like pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. The Clone Wars movie, the 3D animated movie, that was like an hour and a half. That's like the only one. But I feel like that doesn't count because it's part of a show. And it's not canon. So whatever. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even think, I wouldn't count that necessarily.
Yeah, because originally that was a 3-episode arc. That was supposed to be like the first 3 episodes, but George Lucas decided he wanted to make more money just putting it out in theaters. So that's what that was a dumb decision by George Lucas. But
yeah,
listen, I respect George Lucas. He wasn't the brightest person, but I respect.
Yeah, like he's made some mistakes here and there, but I mean, the he created Star Wars.
Yeah. And he fixed the prequels. I'm sorry. He fixed the prequels as they were coming out. He listened to feedback. People didn't like Jar Jar. Okay, well, he wasn't in it as much as Attack of the Clones. People still didn't like that he was in it at all, so he wasn't in Revenge of the Sith at all. People hated the dialogue in Attack of the Clones, so we dumbed it down in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I mean, Jar Jar's in Revenge of the Sith, but he's only in like a background of one scene.
Yeah. I heard a noise. Yeah. I heard a noise. Let me investigate it. It is spooky season after all. Here, I'll give you the spotlight here for.
All right. This is my show now. Finally get rid of that loser, his baby face. He's probably haunted by something. But yeah, no. Long story short, Ahsoka is so bad. The acting is just terrible. The action sucks. And nothing happens in every episode. Like, genuinely nothing.
Okay, so now that that's done, I heard him talking a lot of shit, but I guess that was just a false alarm. I thought someone was breaking into my house. Maybe there is, and oh, good. There's a child that just walked by, and that's fine. Are you back? Did I not click on you?
Yeah, he's sitting in the chair if you want to go get him. Oh, hey.
Wait, what? So that freaked me out. I was like, what the fuck was that? So yeah, I'm probably gonna die, but
Yeah, it could be the wind. It could be a ghost trying to kill me. It could be someone trying to break in. Who knows? Could be another possum.
Let's think rationally here for a second. It can't be the wind. It has to be a ghost.
Well, not just a ghost, a demon.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's you. Like if it was a friendly ghost, he'd be like, who cares about this guy?
Motherfucker really slammed the door. Hey, you paying the fucking bills?
What bills are you paying?
Yeah, what bills are you paying? We slamming doors in my house, fucker. But no, that creeped me out. Now I just want to have all the lights on in the house. How about that? Well, it doesn't help because I've been watching a lot of horror movies, and I just finished playing all the fucking Dark Pictures games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun.
So now that's sitting on your mind.
Yeah. Just last night, I finished The Devil in Me, which I fucked up. So throughout, except for House of Ashes, because I hated everyone in House of Ashes. Except for one person, there's only one person that I actually liked, and that was Jason. I think his name is Jason. He was like that fucking guy with the southern accent. I liked his character. I thought he was cool. He's the only person I liked in the entire fucking game. Ashley Tisdale's character is a fucking whore. I hated her character. I wanted her to die. I actually had her self-delete, by the way.
Yeah.
So I chose. So I had it all fucked up from the get-go anyway. I decided to have her abandon the one girl because she meets up with that one girl that was like her husband's partner or whatever, and she ended up getting infected, and like she was clearly about to turn. Mm-hmm. And so, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get you out. And then I swing across this chasm, and then I'm holding the fucking rope, and it's like I could either throw it back to her so she could swing back and we could go together and figure this out, or I could just abandon her. So I chose to abandon her, which was like awkward. But yeah, I just wanted her to be as unlikable as possible so I could get her to die. And she ends up, so like there's like this big fight, with they're all fighting these vampire bats and shit. And one pounces on her, and I was the Arabic guy, the Salim, and I had the decision like there. So to be fair, okay, I like Salim more than I like her. He's actually a pretty cool guy. I still feel like there's someone out there.
Michael, hold on a second.
But no. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So this one vampire bat is like jumped on her and is like trying to kill her. And then there's another vampire bat like trying to lunge at Celine, who I'm playing at. So I was like, okay, well, let me just fucking shoot this thing coming after me. Because then if I can't save myself, how am I going to save her? So whatever. Long story short, she must have got bit or something, because later on she takes one of these grenades. It was like it was a white phosphorus grenade. And like so like they're messing with this like little circular thing, I guess, and it's making like these noises, like it's like activating these horns or whatever, and it's really upsetting her. Like she's feeling really sick or whatever, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm just like, "Oh shit, she got bit or something." I'm like, "Oh no," she's and of course I had the option not to, but when I had the option to do it, of course I'm going to do it because I don't like her. She picked up a white phosphorus grenade. She gets on her knees. And they're like, "Rachel, are you okay?" and she looks up at everyone. She's like, I'm sorry. She pulls out her knife, and it's like, it gives you the option to either miss or, just have her fucking stab. So, of course, I had her just fucking bam. And she's just like,
of course.
She engulfs in flames and just dies in front of everybody. And, like, they all look at each other. They all just, like, stare at her. And this was so jarring to me. They all just looked at her. They watched her die. And the dude that she was cheating on her husband with, just was like, oh my God, Rachel. And then it cuts to black, and then nothing.
That's outside your door right now.
Oh, thanks, man.
Just so you know.
that makes me feel good. Hey, you're not wrong. I see him. But no, it was just so funny because, like, they had almost no reaction. And then it cuts to a different scene where they're just like, all right, we're going to go in there and we're going to blow up these fuckers. Like, there was nothing there for her.
That's it.
I was like, wow.
Like, did you guys see what I saw just now?
But I purposely had everyone fucking die towards the end. Even Jason, who I actually kind of liked and I felt like deserved to live. But it's like, at the same time, I didn't want him to live with that guilt of his best friend dying and him not being able to save him. So, and not to mention, you got to think, Jason and Salim are pretty cool guys. I feel like those were the only two that deserve to live, but the PTSD and you don't want to deal with that. And Salim had his son who was 18, right? And he was actually going to America to college. So of course I didn't want him to be alone dealing with that stuff because he was probably going to be in danger of himself.
So you're actually a selfless good guy.
Yeah, because it's better to anyway, so I got everyone killed in that game, and the devil in me was funny because I had the option. So, like, there was this recording of the one dude. I had everyone living so far. Everyone was doing fucking great. The two girls make it to this house. They're being chased by the killer, and they make it to this house, this abandoned house. It's all beaten down. They're trying to hide in this house, and they hear a dog whimpering, whatever. And so they're trying to free the dog. The dog must have got caught, like his collar got caught on something. I don't know, but they were trying to get him free, and then the killer must have caught up to them. And so, like, oh, help me. It's like I had the option to, like, either run or hide. So I chose to hide because I'm like, what the fuck's gonna happen, right? The dog's gonna bark and give away their position, please. So naturally I chose to hide, and they decided to take the dog with them. So of course I go, they hide in the closet with this dog, and the killer's just walking around looking. And the dog's making all sorts of noise, and finally the dog barks, right? And I had the option, like the girl that I was playing as had like this broken bottle ready to fucking just end the dog, just. And so I decided, I was like, no, maybe this will be fine. And so I chose not to kill the dog. Well, the dog barks. Go figure. And so of course he turns to look at the closet. He walks up, he opens the closet door, and they're all like, they all just like staring. The dog fucking bolts. The dog leaves. The dog's gone. And yeah, this dude with the axe, he fucking just takes the axe and just slams it down. And then it like cuts away, cuts to it shows a shot of the outside of the house. And then the other character is just like, oh my God, Jamie. And you see fucking Jamie, the character I was playing as, just fucking like with a fucking axe in her head. And I'm like, and he's not even going to kill this other bitch. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, wow. So yeah, I was like, oh shit. And then I was playing as these other characters, and earlier, one of the characters finds a record. I had one of the characters find a recording of the dude who's like kind of the director of this thing they're filming. And apparently there was like a recording of him basically saying like, oh yeah, I want them all dead. I want to bring them here to kill them all, whatever. And so I was playing, so she tells my character that I was playing as about it. And so I decided like I could either trust him or have him tied up outside. So I had him tied up outside because I'm like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
So we get attacked by the killer and everything, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit! What about Charlie?" "Oh yeah, what do you mean? Where is Charlie?" "Oh yeah, we had him tied up," and then we go to where we tied him up, and he's not there, and they see like a trail of blood leading off to this cliff, right? And they look down, and like his face is all busted up. And his shirt was like ripped open, and it looked like the killer carved in a word saying complicit. And I'm like, all right, that sucks. And then the one girl that survived the fucking closet attack, she's just like, you tied him up? Oh, we didn't know what to do. It's like, yeah, I fucked up.
Just whoopsie.
Yeah. Whoopsie. So yeah, and then, but at least the dog lived. Everyone else
matters.
Yeah, everyone else lived. I thought about getting them all killed. The killer didn't die though, despite wrapping the anchor chain around his neck, to which the other end of the chain got caught on the propeller of the boat and was winding him up. Fucking shot him back. Probably could have snapped his neck, if not like the fucking propellers cut him up. But alas, he lived somehow.
Well, I mean, if you don't actually see it, does it count?
I guess not. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the perfect ending is for that game. I want to see what that looks like, but I also don't care enough.
Well, I know when we play the games together, we never get that ending. Let's just say that.
I fucking keep hearing something.
You hear the Halloween theme song?
No. I swear to God, I'm not crazy. But yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. That's another one in the books. We've been going on for quite a while. 3 hours. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I honestly expected to go on for like an hour and a half.
You're looking out for.
I know. I'm scared now. Like, hello.
Yeah, you're like, I want to stop now. Turn on all the lights.
I want to make a couple calls. I want to go to the neighbor's house.
Dad, I'm scared.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I think it's all them horror movies getting to me. But, speaking of horror movies,
good episode.
We are going to see Saw X, and I don't know about you, but I would like to make a little group review when the film is done.
I mean, I would. I just don't like you.
Good. Yes, we are both seeing Saw X. We actually got to get going anyway.
No, I'm down. I want to see Saw X.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it afterwards, and
we'll do like a little group thing. Probably get back on here if you're down for that. If not, I'll just do it by myself because I fucking like you.
See, but I don't understand, why is it Saw X? Like, how many movies is this now?
10.
But it says X.
Yeah, there's an X amount of them.
But like X could be anything.
Yeah,
like X is
X, Jason X, Mortal Kombat X.
X.
Twitter is now X.
Well, that one, I don't know why. I don't understand that one. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
It's not even 10 anything. It's just Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't I don't know.
But yeah, we're gonna see.
Corner of my eye. I'm losing my mind tonight. I don't know what it is.
We're gonna watch
that. I'm like, huh. I don't want to be alone right now.
We're gonna watch Saw
get out of
X.
this house soon.
We're gonna watch Saw X, and you're just gonna come back and just like looking around.
I'm just gonna come back like all bloody and shit.
Game over.
Yeah, I'm actually like I've heard good things about this one.
Oh yeah,
I've been hearing some positive feedback, but I don't know if I should trust any of it. So I haven't really seen trailers or anything for it, but I know what it's about.
Is it a prequel to all of them?
Yes.
Like okay, because I know.
Yeah, this is about his first kills. This is about his first, or not his first kills, but his first official game. Even though I thought Jigsaw was supposed to kind of be that, but whatever.
That's what I thought. But they just, who cares?
Yeah, they realized they wanted to make more of these because they were, I guess, profitable, except for Spiral, which I think they lost money on. By the way, whatever.
Well, with that voice, I mean, the killer's voice was terrible.
I know. I would like to play a game. Fucking sounded like Serona. Fucking sounded like Serona from Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. Oh man.
But all right, we're gonna close this out, and we will talk to you later. Bye for now.